on the steps of the U.S. Capitol.
On the National Mall,
Thanks for the pardon, Trump! Welcome back!
dozens of now pardoned ex-defendants undertook another march toward the Capitol in what was called a remembrance for Ashley Babbitt. She was shot and killed by a Capitol police officer as she attempted to breach the House Speaker's lobby. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. Weaver, WTN News. All right, downtown split. Got a crash on the left shoulder westbound there at exit 211. Lebanon Pike at Jacksonian Drive, Juarez Drive in Hermitage. Police reporting a crash. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. One and all, it is the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day, 6 minutes after 3 o'clock. Proud to have you with us on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Let me figure this all out. Every day, something changes in here. Every day, something changes in the news, too, and we're here to cover it for you on TuneIn, Spotify, iHeart. Those are three of the various apps that you can find us on. You can find us on our own, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're also on Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. YouTube and Rumble more used than any of the others. We appreciate your use for any of those platforms, or you can just listen on the good old radio, 99.7 FM from Alabama to Kentucky and all points in between. We're pleased to be with you until 7 o'clock tonight, or they boot us off the radio, whichever comes first. I am joined in this exercise by young Jackson Williams. He controls the experience, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible, and we appreciate him for his hard work. Jackson, good afternoon.
What's up, buddy?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fabulous. Been going 90-0, my friend. Behind Jackson is truly the straw that stirs the news drink. He is Ken Weaver. He delivers news twice an hour or when it breaks. He digs it up constantly throughout the afternoon hours, and we appreciate his work. Hey, Ken.
How about you boys?
Ken Weaver?
Yes, sir.
I'm doing well.
That's good.
I hope you are.
I'm doing real good.
Hey, I'm closing on my house tomorrow, y'all.
All right, congratulations.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Did the old final walkthrough today.
Yes,
How'd it
sir.
look?
Look good. Needs to be painted, and it's bigger than I thought it was. It's big.
How long was the flight back to Tennessee?
It was not a flight back to Tennessee. Jackson, y'all just need to know that this is going to become a recurring comment from Jackson Williams on the show that Jackson understands that I'm moving out into Plum Nelly. You know what Plum Nelly is, Jackson?
I'm assuming it's the country in Egypt.
It is Plum out the city and Nelly out the state. Mama used to call it Plum Nelly. He lives in Plum Nelly. I live in the middle. Well, I wouldn't say the middle of nowhere. I mean, Mount Pleasant is a lovely little place.
I've
got
heard
neighbors.
it referred to BFE.
Yeah, sure. What'd you say, Ken?
You got neighbors.
I do have neighbors.
Yeah.
I do have neighbors.
And they got a grocery store about 20 miles east.
No, we got a CB Foods right down the road there, buddy boy.
Oh, yes, sir.
Don't have a Sam's Club anywhere near us or a BJ's. Man, we got spoiled by the BJ's in Mount Juliet. I'll tell you that.
The hot chicken place?
No, not that BJ. That's in Murfreesboro. That's where
No, that's
Ken,
in.
No,
Is
that's
it-
in Mount Juliet.
Oh, wait a minute.
That's where that old boy was.
That's where Dan Mandis was.
I thought that was in Lebanon. Is that Lebanon?
No,
It
that
in
was
Lebanon.
the day spa was in Lebanon.
We're going to get in trouble again.
I
Remember we
drove
made
past.
people mad?
I drove past the massage parlor couple weeks ago.
Call Dan and asked him where he dropped his drawers out in East Tennessee. He'll tell us.
Dropped his troll.
Why did we decide that was Dan Mandis? I can't remember why we decided that.
We thought it was
Maybe it was
funny.
because it was in Mount Juliet.
It
I
was
don't know. I
because
can't
Dan
remember.
was on vacation.
That's right. And we just thought it would be funny
Yeah.
just to randomly blame Dan. But I think that should be a theme of 2026. That anytime somebody does something, we should just randomly blame Mandis. I mean, why not? Speaking of people doing things and getting blamed, so if you are new to the show in 2026, we appreciate you picking us up. Thank you. We're here for the news. We're here for the information. We're here for the comment. We're here for the opinion. And we're here for you. But we're also here for a little fun. And so you might not have known, if you're new, that Ken Weaver is a killer. A killer.
Cold-blooded murder.
Cold-blooded killer.
You boys got me all wrong, see? Yeah.
So Weaver made the mistake of telling the story about the time that he killed the woodpecker with the brick. Y'all remember that? How old were you, Ken?
10.
10.
Oh, that's a sign of a serial killer.
100%.
You know what Ted Bundy was doing when he was 10?
Killing woodpeckers with bricks.
Yeah.
So, you know what Jeffrey Dahmer was doing?
Killing the wood and then eating the woodpecker.
Anyway. So, Weaver, you received, remember the gift you got, the brick inside of the glass?
It is in my studio at home right there in Little Breakfast Nook.
Absolutely love it. So Ken received a little an enclosed brick that was enclosed in metal, and it was glass on the front, and it said, "In case of woodpecker, break glass."
Yes, sir.
Well, you have. I've received. I don't know if you can see it right here. It says to Matt Murphy, a gift by a listener, and I opened up the gift,
Yeah.
and it says on the inside of it. I'll just read it to you, and then I'll show you.
Okay.
Pocket-sized Ken Weaver delivered as promised. And then it says, "I'm Ken Weaver, damn it." And then it's a little Gumby. They put a beard on. And look, he's holding a little brick in one hand, and he's got birds that I assume are supposed to be woodpecker. They're little rubber chickens.
Oh.
But look, that's not all. We got more birds in here and more bricks. There's plenty of bricks, Ken. There's
Got a
1,
little-
2, 3, 4.
Got a little BB gun in there?
No BB gun, just a bunch of bricks for you. Oh man! So that's coming your way, buddy. And look, I really, really like the likeness and the goatee. That's pretty good.
You know what's been happening, boys, ever since I told that story?
What's that?
I enjoy watching birds on these YouTube channels whenever I'm just kind of reading or something like that. And I am not kidding you. I turn on some of those videos, and the first bird that lands in the feeder is a freaking woodpecker.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The algorithm knows, Ken.
Ken's broke 3 TVs with bricks.
Just blam! Oh, dang it. Weaver's like,
Woodpeckers don't eat seeds, do they?
I thought woodpeckers ate like bugs in the wood.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of pecking the wood.
I'm telling you, man, it's karma.
You peck the wood. I mean, they pop the wood with their
Right.
beak, and then they get the worms or the critters
or
out.
something out of it.
They
But
pop the
no.
pepperoni off its pie.
And here's the thing. Those woodpeckers look just like that one.
You remember its eyes.
Oh, I remember it. It traumatized me.
Well, can you imagine how its family felt?
Well,
Did you eat it, Ken?
I don't know if it had a family.
Did you eat it?
No, I didn't eat it.
What'd you do with it?
I wonder what woodpecker tastes like. Chicken?
Well, I hid it because I didn't want to get in trouble.
See, it's amazing to me that this story that you told, and I guess it is because they don't expect it out of you, Ken. I told a similar story on the same day. When I got my BB gun,
Right.
I went out back, and my grandpa was a hunter, and we eventually went dove hunting and duck hunting and quail and all manner of bird and all manner of hunting. But I was in the backyard, and I decided I wanted to kill me a bird, and I killed a bird with my BB gun, and I felt horrible.
It's terrible, man.
I felt terrible afterwards.
Did it make a noise?
It wasn't quite dead, and I had to finish it up.
See?
Did you grab your brick?
No, I did not do it with a brick. I'm not cruel,
See,
Jackson.
Murphy, you're doing it, man.
Did you
You're
just
telling
shoot
the
it
story.
again?
No, I did. I actually put I do remember that. I put the thing down to its neck. And pop.
Oh, that's awful.
Well, you got to finish it off. It was suffering.
It was suffering.
What kind of bird?
It was a bluebird.
Oh, that's bad. That's really bad.
What do you mean? Why is that worse? Is
That's
that
it's not like a pigeon.
Well, they're sweet little birds, those bluebirds.
Well, I disagree. Bluebirds are mean.
Oh, you're talking about a blue jay.
Yeah, like a blue jay.
Oh, yeah, blue jays are real mean.
This dog is.
Yeah, they go into other birds' nests and kill their eggs.
Yeah, they're not sweet birds,
No,
Jackson, like woodpeckers. Woodpeckers don't bother anybody. Woodpeckers are so beneficial to the community because woodpeckers clean up the insects.
Hell, they don't in Marshall, Texas.
Well, that one didn't.
That woodpecker found out.
Yes.
Speaking of FAFO, I guess that's what we're finding out regarding the Western Hemisphere and Donald Trump and Venezuela. We talked about it yesterday. We'll give you an update today and play some of the audio from earlier today with President Donald Trump regarding Venezuela. We'll also talk about, January 6th. Today is January 6th, 2025. It is 5 years since January 6th, 2020. I'm willing to take any and all telephone calls regarding what happened at the United States Capitol on January 6th, 2020. But I'm about to tell you the entirety of my commentary on it in the next 30 seconds. The entirety of my commentary regarding January 6th, 2020. I believe that what happened on January 6th, 2020 at the United States Capitol was unfortunate. It was a shame, and it was a sad day in the United States of America. And I find it even sadder that we have never gotten to the real truth about how what happened that day. Sadly, emotions got the better of individuals, and they did things they should not have done. They ran roughshod over the Capitol in a way that they should not have done. Not everyone, not even most of them. But they were led to that point, and they were led to a boiling point for reasons that we, as Americans, have never gotten to the bottom of. And we've not gotten to the bottom of it because there are entities inside the hall of the United States Capitol, inside the hallways. There are entities inside the Beltway in Washington, D.C., there are individuals all across the United States of America, and there are media organizations that do not want that day to be anything other than the narrative that they set down in the immediate aftermath of it. We have learned so much about it. Yet, sadly, there is much more to know about how that day went down and why it went down in the way that it did. And we'll never get to the bottom of it because there are powerful entities that will not allow it. And that is what I have to say about this day and that day. TB says it's Ray Epps Day. That's exactly what I'm talking about. We've learned some since Donald Trump became the 47th president of the United States of America roughly 1 year ago, but not nearly enough about the level of infiltration on the part of the bureaucratic systems, the deep state bureaucratic systems that are inside of our government that desire to accomplish certain goals set out on 1/6/2020. I don't pretend to have all of the answers. I don't, nor do you. I can speculate till the cows come home. Was it a shame that people broke into the Capitol, busted out windows? Yeah, it was a shame. Was it a shame that we apparently had agents of the federal government embedded within that crowd and inflamed the passions of said crowd? Yeah. And we'll never know the totality of what went down. Because sadly, there are entities that do not wish us to know. And that is what I have to say about that. I have a lot to say about this story that came out, and I know that Ken Weaver's been reporting on it throughout the course of the day. I found out about this. I guess I saw a news report about it yesterday. More than 100 Tennessee law enforcement agencies reported arresting at least one person suspected of driving under the influence, only to discover that no alcohol or drugs were in their system. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation reported the numbers to Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally and House Speaker Cameron Sexton as required by a new law passed unanimously April 15th. I wonder how long this has been going on. I know that the police have a difficult job. And we on the Matt Murphy Show fully support law enforcement in their efforts to keep the peace, protect the people in the given municipalities or the state or whatever area they are designated as keepers of the peace. We appreciate them. But we also have to protect the innocent. And these numbers are shameful. Absolutely shameful. And there's no excuse for them. There's no excuse that over one person per day last year was arrested for DUI that was not under the influence. You cannot tell me that in 2025, now 2026, that we do not have some system in place to prevent this. And sadly, and you guys know I'm telling you the truth, there are municipalities in the state of Tennessee that like it this way, and they err on the side of arrest because they make money when they err on the side of arrest. And that's not the way that it ought to be. We'll talk to you about it coming up, taking your calls all afternoon long. We got a lot of guests to tell you about, to include Senator Bill Hagerty. He'll be here at 4:05 this afternoon to talk about Venezuela and other matters. Your call's on the way. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN and the Matt Murphy Show. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. The Tennessee Men's Clinic wants to help you men, you fellas that have had issues with energy levels. Perhaps it's not impacting your, shall we say, performance in the bedroom, but maybe it's just impacting your energy levels. You're not getting gains at the gym. You're not willing to go to the gym. You don't want to do that workout. Well, whatever it might be, however it might be impacting you, maybe it has come to the bedroom. It can wreck your confidence. It can impact your relationship, your mental health, even your sense of identity. But there's good news. There's help. Since 2014, Tennessee Men's Clinic has helped thousands of men get back to feeling like themselves. First in Midtown, then in Cool Springs, and now in Clarksville. 3 separate Middle Tennessee locations to serve you. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is urology-based. They're staffed with licensed providers and specialists who specialize in men's sexual health. Too many guys rely on online sites. Too many guys rely on pills that don't work or come with side effects. You need to get to the bottom of the issue that you're dealing with and get it behind you. Let's get back in the game, men, with Tennessee Men's Clinic. Call today at 615-208-9090. That's 208-9090 or online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. That's TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Friends, you got a nice weapon over the holiday season. Maybe you got a long gun, a short gun. Perhaps you have enough guns that you're thinking about a way to protect those things to protect you and your family. What about Nashville Safe House? They have more safes in stock than you can shake a stick at, friends. I mean, they've got over 200 on the showroom floor. You walk into the lobby area, you'll see Donald Trump on the left side. You'll see the Murphy special on the right side. You'll see Jill and Mark and the rest of the team there. Say hello to them. Tell them that I sent you to Nashville Safe House, and then peruse the incredible selection of Browning and Fort Knox and Rhino and Superior and all of the brand names that you know and love. They're the largest Browning dealer in the United States of America. That means they're the largest Browning dealer in the universe. You heard me, in the universe. They've got the Browning that you're looking for, and they've got the rebates you're looking for as well. Plus, a professional delivery crew will deliver your safe. They never let a crackhead in your home to deliver your safe. That's right, I said it. Go see Mark and his team at Nashville Safe House, right across the street from City Cemetery on 4th Avenue South, or online, NashvilleSafeHouse.com.
President Trump telling House Republican members today, you got to win the midterms or else. We'll tell you about that at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I normally count the number of times that I give an incorrect year at the beginning of the year. I've been doing this a long time. I've been involved in talk radio. I've been doing a talk radio show since 2000. So believe it or not, Jackson, for half of my life, I've been doing talk radio.
2000 BC?
No, 2000. The year or a year after you were born, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, you were born December 30th, 1999.
Yes.
I started my talk radio show in the February of 2000.
Oh,
So you were a month old.
2 months.
Little whippersnapper. No, about a month. I mean, February, that would be the month of January plus a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brother Jackson was born right before Y2K.
Well, how about that? Maybe you were the reason nothing happened. Man, you missed it, Jackson. Have you ever done any research on Y2K? Ken, remember
That's
that?
a big old deal,
Woo,
boy.
people were freaking out.
Yeah.
What they think was going to happen?
So the premise was, and Ken,
Yes,
correct me if I veer off the reservation. Oh, by the way, what I was trying to say is I was saying the wrong year. I was saying January 6, 2020. It's 2021. My apologies. It was Jan 6, 2021. And I was thinking in my head that it was 5 years ago. And so I did the math and I subtracted 25 and 5 and it got to 20 and it's 26. It's not 25. So Jackson, when computers were created, they the programmers of said computers, to save space and for their own variety of reasons, when they would program the year, they just programmed the year as a 2-digit number. Instead of saying 92, they just said 92 or 93 or 94. You with me so far?
Yes.
So I don't know where it started, Ken.
I don't either.
But there were a group of people that decided, so these supercomputers all over the world,
Yeah, they're calling them experts.
these experts realized that when the computer rolled over from 1999 to 2000, that it wouldn't know what to do with that. That it would roll from 99 to 00, which would create like this hard reset on our computer systems. And so this thing got to the point where people were freaking out. They said that the entire banking industry was going to go down because all the banks were run by, everything that was run by a computer would fail because the computer would not recognize the date.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I mean, and Ken, there were preppers that were selling a lot of product based on the idea that everything, when the clock struck midnight in the year of our Lord 2000, that everything run by a computer was going to shut down.
Yeah.
There were people that actively participated in prepping to make sure that they were not impacted. There were people that decided they weren't going to drive their automobile anytime around the new year because of fear that the automobile would freak out and drive into a tree.
Yeah. Go right off a bridge or something.
It would find the nearest tree.
Yeah. Jackson, would you care to guess what happened?
Nothing.
Correctamundo.
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing happened.
Governments and corporations spent between $300 billion to $600 billion.
Good Lord.
That is a lot of government waste.
That's a lot of money for no reason whatsoever.
But we didn't know.
So there you go. So and no big deal. But you happened, Jackson.
Yeah.
Brother Jackson came along.
There you go.
Save the world.
I don't know about all that. So my apologies for saying January 6, 2020. My bad. January 6, 2021 is obviously what I meant. David, speaking of that, we'll talk to you in a moment. Craig wants to talk about DUIs first, though, but that has to come right after the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And President Trump telling House Republican lawmakers today if they don't win the midterms and Democrats take control, then he's going to get impeached.
You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached.
Meanwhile, California Republican Congressman Doug LaMalfa unexpectedly passed away today at the age of 65. That reduces the GOP's narrow control of the House to 2 votes. After the U.S. military operation to capture Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela, President Trump's ramped up talk of acquiring Greenland, but the European Union and fellow NATO allies pushing back, saying they're standing by Denmark. We get more from ABC's Patrick Reevell.
Greenland's foreign minister as well has said that both Greenland and Denmark are trying to urgently have a meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio to discuss these latest threats. They say, though, in a statement today, that they've been trying for a long time now to try and have a meeting to discuss this issue. But so far, the U.S. Secretary of State has not agreed to it and are basically saying that he has been avoiding it.
Danish officials also say if the U.S. were to invade Greenland, the NATO alliance would crumble. NASCAR Commissioner Steve Phelps is stepping down after inflammatory text messages surfaced during this recent federal antitrust trial. The texts targeted Hall of Fame team owner Richard Childress, calling him a, quote, stupid redneck who should be, quote, taken out back and flogged. Well, Phelps apologized in court, saying the comments were made out of frustration. His resignation takes effect at the end of this month, just weeks before the season begins. And the trial of a former police officer who responded to the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, has started. Asked to enter a plea to 29 counts of endangering children, Adrian Gonzalez said in a clear voice, "I am not guilty."
Special prosecutor Bill Turner then gave an emotional opening statement that hinted at the horror of May 24, 2022.
And the gunshots get near, and the slaughter begins.
In his opening statement, defense attorney Jason Goss said his client did nothing wrong and that
the monster who hurt those children is dead.
But the shooter wasn't killed until 77 minutes after the first officer arrived at Robb Elementary. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Downtown Split got a crash on the left shoulder westbound there at exit 211. In Hermitage, a crash, Lebanon Pike at Jacksonian Drive, Juarez Drive. And in Kingston Springs now, police reporting a crash 70 west of Butterworth Road. And in Laverne, we got a stalled vehicle on the left shoulder, 24 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard South. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine right in Franklin, Tennessee, but convenient to wherever you might be listening from and worth the drive. Why? As a direct pay primary care provider, this means that all treatment decisions are made between you and the medical staff at Grace Point Healthcare. They never allow a pharmaceutical company or an insurance company to make those decisions for you or for them. And with the basic Smart Care plan, it is very affordable. $99 a month will get you unlimited office visits throughout the course of the year, plus basic labs and diagnostics. Even less for the youngsters, $79 a month. Obviously, with winter, there's cold and flu. And if you've got a cold or you've got the flu, you don't want to wait weeks to get to your doctor. Sadly, that's the case for most medical professionals. Not so at Grace Point Healthcare. They can see you same day or next day, even for brand new patients. They're located in the heart of Franklin. I encourage you to give them a call and schedule an appointment today to Grace Point Healthcare. 599-6868 is the number. 599-6868. Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. What's going on? Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 38 after the hour of 3. Happy to be with you this Tuesday afternoon. By the way, it's episode 952. I just did the math. I'm off tomorrow to close on the house, and then I'm off on, we scheduled the move on January 19th. So those are the only 2 days off that I have at the beginning of the year. The 19th, I think, is MLK Day, that Monday. So if my math is correct, we will hit episode 1,000, gentlemen, on March 18th. Huh?
Yeah, what do you know about that?
How about that? Big celebration happening on March 18th.
Yes, sir.
Be a hell of a lot bigger than that Y2K.
Yeah.
Come on. We should we need to go out and party. I mean, 1,000, that's a big deal.
We'll go hop on one of those pedal taverns.
Come on, Ken. I like the way you're thinking. Jackson, you in on it?
I'm down.
All right.
But let's make sure we join other people who are willing to paddle.
So those things have motors, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
But you got to pedal.
Well, you don't have to pedal.
You have to pedal.
What do you mean you have to pedal?
I guess it's part of the.
See, that's why I wouldn't work well on a pedal tavern. Because, I mean, as soon as I've just paid to be on this pedal tavern. And as soon as dude tells me I have to pedal, I'm done pedaling. I'll pedal until I'm told I have to pedal. Then I'm not pedaling. I paid you. You crank up that motor, buddy boy. Let's go. Let these little fillies over here that I don't know that came into town for the bachelorette party, let them do some pedaling.
Let them do the pedaling.
Yeah. Have you ever been on a pedal tavern, Jackson?
Luckily, no.
Yeah, and I was just kidding. You
don't want to go?
No, I don't want to do a pedal tavern.
How much do you think those things cost?
I have no idea.
Jackson, look that up, would you? Make yourself useful.
Now,
How much does admission, or how much is the unit?
No, that's a fair question. How much?
Jackson.
How much does it cost? What you think I want to start a side hustle? A little pedal tavern action from 10 Music Circle East. That might not be a bad idea, as a matter of fact. A Super Talk 99.7 WTN pedal tavern experience.
Oh.
I'm going to guess it's $50 a piece.
You're right on, $49.
Good Lord have mercy.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
That is, man. I wonder what it is to ride that double-decker bus that drives people around.
If you want a private tour, it's $395 to $450.
Goodness.
What? So we got double-decker buses. That's the hop-on, hop-off, right, Ken?
And it's BYOB.
Whoa. That $49 doesn't even include hooch?
No, you got to take your own.
What the hell are those tabs on there for?
And you have to sign a waiver.
In case something goes awry.
In case something like 911 Nashville happens.
Oh, Lord. Is that tonight?
No, it comes back Thursday. I'll have a review on Friday.
An embarrassment to the entire city, that show. And
I don't know, this I'm excited about this season premiere. They left a cliffhanger on it.
He is supposed to be on like episode 11.
I think this is episode 7.
So I know the plot of episode 11, and I cannot tell anyone the plot because she was sworn to secrecy, and I'm not supposed to know, but she told me.
Did she sign a bunch of documents?
Oh, yeah. She just non-disclosures and all that.
Then you shouldn't have said that she told you on the radio.
Why not? I mean,
because that's violating the terms of said documents.
We're husband and wife. What are you talking about?
I'm sure.
What happens in the marital bedroom is nobody's business, Jackson.
Well, you just made it the Walt Disney Company's business.
Oh,
so
wow.
Mickey Mouse is now involved.
One way or then I'm lying. I was just doing that for show. She didn't really tell me.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, where were we? What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. Pedal taverns and Y2K. Pedal taverns are the worst thing I've ever done in my life in Nashville. That says Brad. And that includes a questionable hookup one time. Wow.
Right there on the pedal tavern?
No.
The logistics there are just...
Young man, you cannot do that on the pedal tavern.
Sir.
Excuse me, sir. I'm going to need to ask you to put those blue jeans back on.
You two need to get a room.
What? I want to know why they have tabs. if we have to buy our own beer?
This might have just. I mean, this was just the company I looked at.
Okay.
Yeah,
because the one
they look like they have taps.
I'm sure the tap is more expensive.
I would think so.
I bet it's $80 a person.
Look up girls falling off of pedal taverns. Okay. Congratulations, Matt, on buying a house. How exciting. My husband and I are very happy for you. Thank you guys for keeping us educated and informed. Well, you're welcome, 0396.
Oh, that's nice.
I remember what we were talking about. March 18th is our 1,000th
Yes.
episode
Yes, sir.
of the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN in Nashville, Tennessee. Very exciting. And someone needs to fact check me on this. I've gotten days mixed up because I was counting. My counter on the episodes that I have been on radio is accurate. But I have screwed up my Donald Trump counter. We've been doing the Donald Trump counter, and it says here 356 of 1,460, and I don't think that math's correctly. Because I think Trump was inaugurated on January 20th, and that's 14 days. And if you add 14 to 56, that would be 370. So I think I'm off. So someone correct my math.
It has been 351 days.
Oh, okay, so I was off by 5 days. I don't know how that happened. All right. Thank you, Jackson, for credit. You're someone.
That's the way to go, Brother Jackson.
Appreciate that. Let's talk to David, who is first up on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, David.
Hey, Matt, how you doing, man? Congrats on the new house.
Well, thank you, brother. What's on your mind?
Yeah. So my take on the Jan 6th thing is for maybe kind of on a lesser degree, but I think it to me, it reeks of like a Reichstag fire type thing. Like, they knew all these people were coming. They turned down, extra security because they knew that the optics were going to be such that it turned out to be what it was. And with the number of FBI sources, and we'll never find out about actual agents, I'm guessing, but with the number of FBI sources that have been proven to have been in that crowd, I can't help but think that they let that happen on purpose, just for the optics of it. And I'm not one who's prone to conspiracy theories, but certainly the left has shown that there is nothing too low or nothing too underhanded or nefarious that they wouldn't try to retain power.
Well, obviously they were. When you say they, you're talking about the political left or the bureaucracy, the deep state.
Yes,
all of it. Yeah,
correct.
I believe that there were deep state operatives that were there to inflame the passions of individuals that legitimately felt like that the election of 2020 had been stolen from Donald Trump and, by extension, from themselves. And I'm not here to, and David, thank you for the call, I'm not here to relitigate that conversation. I do not believe for a moment that the election was stolen based on voting machine rigging. I do believe the election was stolen based on how they changed the rules. Stolen in the sense of they changed the rules in the middle of the game as to how individuals could vote against the laws of various states, giving Democrats an opportunity to harvest votes that they would not otherwise have harvested were it not for the change in voting law against state law that happened in November of 2020. All of that said, I do believe that there were federal agents that had infiltrated the crowd. I do believe that they were there in part to inflame the passions and the emotions of said crowd. That does not excuse some of the behavior of individuals that chose to unlawfully break into the United States Capitol. We have to have rules in place. We have rules about access to the United States Capitol for very good reason. The United States Capitol was attacked in the 1950s. Most people don't remember this or recognize. Remember when the Puerto Rican Nationals opened fire from the House gallery onto members of Congress? I think it was in Jackson, give me a fact check on this. Puerto Rican Nationals opened fire, U.S. House of Representatives. I'm going to guess 1958. 1958 is my guess. Let's see how off I am. But that happened. What do you got?
1954.
Ah, off by 4 years. 1954. It certainly did happen. And in the aftermath of that, it was decided that we had to set up rules to protect House of Representative members in the United States Capitol. Obviously, this is the people's capital. The White House, that's the people's house, but you can't just go into the White House when you want to go into the White House, and most sane human beings recognize why that is. All of that to say, I am not one to fully exonerate and excuse those who actively participated in breaking into the Capitol. Although I would say that the vast majority of the people that eventually went into the Capitol were led into the Capitol and had no idea that some of that other stuff was going on. Both of those things can be true at the same time. And it is true that we have not gotten to the bottom of how those crowds were infiltrated by operatives from the deep state. And I don't know that we'll ever get the full story and the full picture. Sandra, you're right. Waving people in is not breaking in, but there were individuals that did break in. And let's not shade the truth. The vast majority of the people that were on that property that day did nothing wrong. I knew people. I had a good friend by the name of Daryl Hubbard. We called him Big Hub because he was a big man. He had a heart attack and died in the aftermath of January 6th because he was being harassed by the FBI. He was harassed by the FBI because he went up to the steps of the Capitol and he chose not to go in. He made a decision that he didn't feel like he was comfortable with what was going on. And so on the steps of the Capitol, he actively turned around and left. He was harassed by the FBI for months. They raided the man's house, and eventually Big Hub died of a heart attack as a result. And I blame the federal government for his death. So I understand the aftermath and the ramifications, and I understand that far too many people were prosecuted and far too many people were sent to jail as a result of what happened. That doesn't excuse the few that engaged in unlawful activity. And I think both of those things, reasonable people can agree, can be true at the same time. All of that to say, I don't know that we'll ever get the full story and the full picture of what went down January 6, 2021. Craig is next up, wants to talk about DUIs. Craig, thank you for your call. How are you?
Hey, Matt. Congratulations on the house there, and I agree with you pretty much on January 6th. Just to get that out of the way.
Well, thank you.
I have full respect for law enforcement because what's going on with me is after the fact, and it's government. And I've got one of these stupid breathalyzer boxes in my vehicle. It's been in there for over 5 years, and I can't get it out.
Is it one of these that they installed in your vehicle you have to blow in it to turn your car on?
Yeah. Yeah, and I have to pay for that every month, and I also have to pay for a calibration every month. I have to take it in, so it's an ongoing thing. I've been paying over $150 a month for over 5 years now. But there's always some kind of regulation I ain't met when I try to get the thing out. Well, you ain't done this, you ain't done that. And, I spent 2 years in their programs going to see them twice a week, going to court once a month, peeing in a cup twice a week for over 2 years. And I'm 5 years in now, and they have totally destroyed my retirement. And I'm broke. I can't make my bills for month to month. I'm disabled on fixed income. So basically, I'm a poor man, and I can't get my license back because I can't come up with the money.
Craig, how many they put this on your vehicle because you had a DUI?
Correct.
Was it just was it just
admit,
was it just the one?
Yeah,
Okay. And how long did they initially say that it would be on your vehicle?
a year.
And why is it that you've not been able to remove it?
Well, because there's always another regulation, something else that ain't been done, some money that ain't been paid.
All right, this is wrong. So, Craig, what I need you to do, can you communicate with me via email?
Yes, sir, I sure can.
So if you're telling me that this was supposed to be a year that you had this breathalyzer deal on your automobile, and it's been on there for 5 years?
Yeah, it was 5 years, actually, June of last year. So June coming up be 6 years.
No, this is not right. Have you? I'm out of time in this segment, but I want to explore this more, and I've got Senator Haggerty coming up in the next segment. Would you mind emailing me, matt@murphyshow.com, and I'll get Matt, M-A-T-T, at murphyshow.com.
Okay.
And just remind me that you're Craig, and we were talking about the DUI deal, because we need to get, if what you're telling me is correct, we need to get that DUI thing off of your vehicle. You've served your quote-unquote sentence, and it's time that you stopped having to pay for it.
Thank you, sir.
Well, it's my pleasure. I mean, just you hit me up, and we'll try to deal with that. It's 54 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Contours. Oh, my goodness. Did you overeat like I did during the holiday season? Oh, during the Christmas season, there's all manner of goodies and cakes and snacks and pies and delicious savory stuff as well. And it's easy to do. Well, maybe you're not feeling your best now because of the amount that you ate during the holidays, and perhaps you are committed in 2026 to losing some weight. But you know that stubborn fat around your belly, stubborn fat around your waist, your haunches, if you will. It's hard to get off. Friends, if you're having trouble for whatever reason in getting that weight off, Contours is your answer. It is red light technology that I have utilized. I met with Keith and Stephanie, and I'll be honest with you, I heard Dan talking about it. I heard Chad talking about it, and I'm like, man, this sounds too good to be true. It's true. It works. The red light therapy, and Keith and Stephanie and the rest of the team, they can describe it to you. It works. It gets that stubborn fat off. It is safe. It is painless. It is effective. And so if you've got your gut or your loved handles that you're dealing with, you need to get with Contours LLC right now and ask them about the Murph, which I insist we're going to carry into the new year. What do you have to lose but a few inches? Call Contours today, 615-236-9960, 236-9960, or online at ContoursLLC.com.
4 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now, the White House is confirming the Trump administration's weighing a range of options to acquire Greenland, including the use of U.S. military power. Officials say the move is driven by national security concerns in the Arctic. Other strategies under discussion include purchasing the island or negotiating a compact with Denmark. European leaders have strongly rejected the idea, warning it could fracture NATO. Here's ABC News foreign correspondent Patrick Reevell.
We've been seeing significant public pushback today. We've seen the Danish Prime Minister warn that a U.S. attack on Greenland would amount to the end of the NATO alliance and also an end to the post-World War II security order.
Meanwhile, President Trump with a prediction at today's annual Republican retreat.
You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be... they'll find a reason to impeach me.
California Republican Congressman Doug LaMalfa unexpectedly passed away today at the age of 65. That leaves the GOP with an only 2-vote majority. Steve Phelps, NASCAR's first commissioner, will resign following a courtroom scandal. Text messages revealed during an antitrust case recently showed Phelps insulting veteran team owner Richard Childress, one of which called him a, quote, stupid redneck. The backlash was swift, with major sponsors demanding that Phelps remove himself. Phelps leaves at the end of the month as NASCAR prepares for its opening race. And here in Tennessee, TBI confirms 2,547 people have faced DUI charges since 2017, even though they're completely sober. It's a major jump from the 609 cases first reported. The revelation comes after a transparency law passed last year requiring the agency to dig deeper. Officials say new legislation could focus on officer training and better roadside testing. Here in Nashville, new numbers from Mayor Freddie O'Connell's year-end report claim crime is down across Nashville, including homicide, falling by nearly 30%. The mayor crediting investments in public safety and new policing strategies for the improvements. But at least one Metro Council member, Joy Stiles, telling Fox 17, crime stats don't tell the full story, which is why some residents, she says, are still pushing for license plate readers.
You can talk about stats, but again, if constituents don't feel that those stats come through on everyday life, the stats don't matter.
Well, the mayor says privacy protections are a priority. Entertainment news. Today marks the 50th anniversary of the release of Frampton Comes Alive, the double live album by Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Peter Frampton. One of the best-selling live albums of all time, 11 million copies. It became a worldwide phenomenon. It made Frampton a global superstar. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we've got crashes. The right shoulder is blocked 40 westbound at Hermitage Avenue, then 24 eastbound at Old Hickory Boulevard south in Laverne. The left shoulder is blocked there. In Donaldson, we've got a crash. Stewart's Ferry Pike. This is going to be at McCampbell Avenue. Right now, it is complete stop and go if you're eastbound 24, just past 440. And then to go northbound on the North Loop, that is complete stop and go from 40 eastbound and 40 westbound there on the west side of the loop. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The Matt Murphy Show continues. Hour number 2 begins right now in earnest. Just after that newscast, great newscast as always by Ken Weaver over in News Central, News Closet B as we call it. Ken, you delivered within that newscast a report on Peter Frampton's live album.
Yes, sir.
Frampton Comes Alive. Fabulous live performance. I was told by someone on the super text line, I have no idea whether it's true or not, that Peter Frampton lives in Nashville, Tennessee.
He does.
He does?
Yeah, he showed up at a State of the City, State of the Metro address for John Cooper.
Well, how about that?
Yeah, Cooper gave him some sort of award, and Peter played a couple of songs, I believe. Baby, I Love Your Way was one of them.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
Well, maybe
he'll come on the air with us.
Maybe Peter's willing to slip on the airwaves with us and talk with us.
He might be listening right now.
Maybe he is. Mr. Frampton, if you're listening, thank you for listening, and come on anytime. Not now, however, because we got Senator Bill Hagerty on right now.
Yes, sir.
Senator Bill Hagerty joins us on the Matt Murphy Show hotline to discuss, obviously, 2026, what we can expect out of Washington, D.C., and clearly the subject du jour, if you will, would be the actions by the President of the United States in Venezuela. We are always pleased to have Senator Hagerty on with us. Senator, good afternoon. Welcome.
Well, it's good to be on with you again, Matt, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well, sir. Obviously, the subject on our lips today would be the activities over the weekend involving the President of the United States, our administration, our law enforcement personnel taking down a wanted, indicted narco-terrorist in the form of Nicolas Maduro, an illegitimate president of Venezuela. I'm curious your overall thoughts on this, Senator.
Well, Matt, you mentioned the indictment, and I think that may be something that a lot of the news media aren't covering in as much depth as perhaps they should. The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, longtime friend of mine. I've been in communication with Jay since the moment this took place. He's responsible for charging and bringing to justice Nicolas Maduro. And Jay reminded me that in 2011, that's when this case was first opened against the narco-terrorist regime in Venezuela. It was updated in 2020 to include Nicolas Maduro with what they call a superseding indictment, bringing Maduro into the full force of the U.S. government's indictment against him because of his leadership in the criminal activities and the narco-terrorism that's taking place. Jay and his team in the Southern District of Manhattan convicted Maduro's intelligence chief in the summer of this year. The guy pled guilty to narco-terrorist charges. With that information, they advanced what they call another superseding indictment, enhanced the indictment against Maduro. That's what was executed by President Trump and the law enforcement team that went in with the aid of our very capable U.S. military. That's what was executed. This is an ongoing legal law enforcement process that is fully within the president's constitutional authority to deliver. The president has done that. I think the extraction was nothing short of miraculous in terms of the precision with which it was executed. If you think about it, our team was in and out in literally the blink of an eye. Compare that to what happened with Noriega. There were days involved in getting that done. This happened very swiftly, very quickly, and what we have now is one of the top narco terrorists of the world in custody in Manhattan right now, or in New York City, I should say, perhaps in Brooklyn right now, awaiting trial. It's amazing to see President Trump actually putting. Rather than just talking the talk, he's actually delivering for the American people.
I mean, clearly the president of the United States has legal justification under the War Powers Act. He has done his due diligence. He has informed the Congress of the United States of America regarding the activities that he engaged in to seize the narco-terrorist. That said, at what point, if any, should the Congress be a part of the discussions moving forward? My fear, Senator, is that nation handling, not even nation building, but nation handling is a difficult task. And while we recognize the moral obligation that we had in our Western Hemisphere, while we recognize the legal obligation that this president had, and we are proud of him in doing so, what comes next, I guess, is the big question.
Well, I think what we're going to have is a real reckoning here in the public domain. You've got members of the legislative branch that seem to be cheering for Maduro. And, let's free Maduro and jail Trump. I suspect I saw them setting up on the steps of the Capitol for what I suspect will be a Chuck Schumer, rant after the closed-door session that they had with Marco Rubio and team just a little while ago. But my sense is that the American public see right through this. It's just raw politics. And what we want as American people are, as you just said, the safety and security of America. Our interests in the Western Hemisphere have been severely implicated by narco-terrorism. They have been further complicated by the fact that Maduro works not only with narco-terrorist regimes, with criminal activities and Trinidad and Tobago and groups like that, cartel groups in his own country. Not only is he into his jails into our country and helping support criminal enterprises here that are run out of Venezuela, but he's done this in partnership with Russia, with Iran, with China, Cuba. And if you think about the fact that he is creating warm and friendly relationships with our adversaries while undermining us here in America, everything spells consequences. And those consequences were realized. His vice president now has been sworn in to be president. She is now, it seems to me, to be 180 degrees turned, that she is ready to cooperate. Secretary Rubio has been in contact with her. She may be saying things for domestic consumption, but my sense is she sees the writing on the wall. And if she doesn't cooperate and start to bring the entire regime into alignment, get them ready for a transition of power, get them ready for proper elections, there will be more consequences, further consequences to pay. And President Trump has made it clear, all options remain on the table.
Is that, Senator, the best case scenario, that the VP works with the United States of America, is compliant with our desires to move forward with new elections in Venezuela to allow the Venezuelan people at some point down the road to determine their own future?
I think that's exactly right, Matt. I mean, you're always so astute on these matters. It can't happen overnight. Look, there was an election in the outsiders that would like to come in and actually run the country need the infrastructure to do it. We can't snap our fingers and make that happen overnight. And I think they acknowledge the fact that we need to get the country stabilized. We need to get things in place to be able to accommodate a transition. That's going to take some time, and that's going to take U.S. leadership managing the current environment to get to that point in time. But I think, is it denominated in days? Probably longer. Is it denominated in weeks? Probably longer. But I'm not talking much longer than weeks and months to get this done. I think everyone wants to see the Venezuelan people take charge of their own destiny. Our goal isn't to manage this out of the United States. Our goal is to transition this and do that in a manner that not only frees the Venezuelan people, and you've seen clips all over the place of the Venezuelan people celebrating the fact that Maduro is gone.
Yes.
But it is a matter of turning over the rule of law to them, the management of their own nation. But also, I think the U.S. can play a critical role in helping them revive their economy. Venezuela is one of the richest countries in the world. that prosperity has been literally destroyed by communism. And you see what's happened to Venezuela. You think what might happen in Manhattan, New York City, if Mandami gets his way. But what they have done is taken one of the most prosperous countries in the world and delivered absolute misery to the people of Venezuela. It's time to turn it around. They have massive natural resources. The United States and United States entities know how to deliver on those resources. In fact, one of the greatest thefts ever took place in history was the communist regime in Venezuela coming in and stealing American companies' property there. So this is a massive turnaround. In my mind, it's been way overdue, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results for the Venezuelan people that are going to be positive for Venezuela, but also positive for the United States, and turn back the influence of communism in this hemisphere. It has delivered nothing but misery for people here, but it emboldens the Chinese, the Iranians, the Russians, the Cubans who work with authoritarian regimes like Maduro's. We need to be pushing back on them and sending a very strong message.
Well, and it also sends a message. I mean, obviously legally and morally justified, and clearly this man will face his court date in the near future. But this also sends a message to the rest of the Western Hemisphere, and by extension, the rest of the world, right? That this is a president that says what he means what he says, and if the individuals involved in these narco-terrorist activities, Colombia comes to mind. I mean, Cuba to a lesser degree, but I mean, if these nations do not comport themselves in a manner consistent with American interest, if they continue to harm the American people in the way that they've been doing so, there are going to be consequences to those actions, not just in Venezuela, but in these other countries as well.
That's true, but I think Venezuela was certainly the most egregious of the players. I mean, President Trump and I have talked about Maduro's behavior. Maduro just emptied his jails, the insane asylums, you name it. He exported his problems to America after Joe Biden dropped enforcement at the border. Biden opened up, created the vulnerability that allows now Tren de Agua to operate throughout the United States and sadly in our own state, Matt. It's got to come to an end. And if you think about where the leadership of all of this comes from, it's Nicolas Maduro. It's coming right out of Caracas. And now that message has been sent loud and clear. And I hope that Tren de Agua and all of the criminal cartel elements that are operating in the United States realize this is coming to an end in America as well. These enterprises, these criminal enterprises that have been thriving in America under Joe Biden are going to have to leave the country. They're going to be shut down. We're going to see the prosecution is sort of the head of the snake here, going after Maduro. There have been some pearl clutching and complaints that, gosh, why didn't you get other people that are indicted in Caracas down in Venezuela? Well, this is the first step. The most valuable target, so to speak, is the illegitimate Nicolas Maduro, who is holding himself out as a dictator there in Venezuela, who basically canceled and put himself in power since 2019. We haven't recognized him as a legitimate leader. And it's just amazing to me to see my colleagues on the other side of the aisle up here complain and rant seemingly in favor of Maduro now. And I think it's only because it was President Trump that delivered this victory.
Well, sadly, Senator Hagerty, I think you and I both know that if Donald Trump announced that he had cured cancer in the White House today, there would be some Democrats on Capitol Hill that would come out pro-cancer. I mean, it's just it's unfortunate, but this is the level of Trump derangement syndrome that they experience. But I do want to ask you quickly, and I know we've got limited time, but I do want to ask you about Greenland. The president today, through his press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, said President Trump has made it well known that acquiring Greenland is a national security priority of the United States. Help me understand how that looks and how that would work to your understanding.
Well, there's even more news. Secretary Rubio evidently had an exchange with Senator Schumer in a closed-door classified meeting, which, of course, will be leaked by the other side soon.
Right.
But the discussion of Greenland, just to be clear for all of our listeners, Matt, President Trump is the third president to state that he'd like to acquire Greenland, that we'd like it to become part of the United States, and the strategic rationale has been there for decades, well before President Trump. It's become, I think, more strategically relevant given what's happening up in the Arctic right now, and that is the movement of Russia and the movement of China in the Arctic region. You think about the criticality now of rare earth minerals and look at the deposits that are there in Greenland. Again, it has become increasingly relevant to our strategic protection, if you will. That Arctic passageway is opening up. Climate change is what the left always talks about all the time as an existential threat. To the extent that it's opening up, and again, climate. I remember writing a paper on the coming ice age when I was a kid, Matt, because that was the climate change prognostications at that point. Then it was global warming, and now it's just change because we need to have something to be upset about. But right now, what we have are significant movements in the Arctic region. They are very proximate to the United States to protect our homeland. President Trump, I think, wisely is saying we need to have a deeper and stronger relationship. The conversations about acquiring Greenland or any other movements in that direction, I think, are the beginning of a negotiation. And I don't know exactly, where this is going to land, but I can see very clearly that President Trump wants to make certain that a country as proximate, that an island is the largest island in the world, that is as proximate as it is to the North American continent, with the natural resources that it has, and more importantly, the strategic location in the Arctic. It needs to be within our sphere of influence, and he's working hard to make that happen.
Shifting gears quickly to budgetary policy, how confident are you that we will not have a government shutdown at the end of the month?
I think the Democrats saw the folly in their way. Look, they shut the government down for 43 days. There was fallout all over the place, and Chuck Schumer did not benefit from that, nor did the Democrats benefit from that. I don't think they want to see this happen again. Clearly, the Republicans don't want to. We never wanted to see the government shut down in the first place. So I think the odds are low right now that it will happen. I'm on the Appropriations Committee. We are working literally night and day. The only day the staff took off was Christmas Day. They're going to continue to work through this weekend, next weekend, to try to get more appropriation packages through and passed in the Senate. Will we get all 12 of them done? We've got 3 done so far. The House just voted 3 more out today. That would be half of the appropriations packages, but not quite half of the budget. Really, the big thing to look for is whether we get to defense and labor. The labor packages, those 2 together will be the largest component of the budget, and we're on track right now to get that done before the 30th of January. The Democrats want to be obstructionist again. I don't think the public's going to be very tolerant of that. So my sense is we get through it. We may not get all of the appropriation bills passed, but I don't think we're going to see a shutdown.
Finally, from me, Senator, the SAFE Act is on my radar screen because I see the midterms coming around the corner. And I just strongly believe that we need to see photographic identification required in our election processes, particularly those that impact all of the nation. I understand that the states are going to be left to do their own thing with state and local elections, but from the federal level, do you see any movement possible with the SAFE Act? I know the House has passed it, I think, on a couple of different occasions. Do you see anything happening on the Senate side?
Well, I certainly think there's an appetite for it, Matt, and I'm with you. This is an 80+% issue for the American public. The American public is for voter identification, and if you look at the Democrat argument, why are they against it? Why do they want our elections to be less secure? It's a hard one to make, but they continue to take that position, and I think it's something that, even though and I know you are as well, a states' rights person, I think our state, in terms of holding elections, Secretary of State Trey Hargett does a terrific job, one of the best, probably the leader in America in terms of the conservative posture that he adopts, and the fact that our Tennessee elections are more secure than any other in the nation. I think we've done a great job in Tennessee, but what I think you hear here and what you see here is the fact that we've got to stop this ability in certain states, and I'm talking about blue states here. Kamala Harris won. The states that Kamala Harris won were only those states that required no voter ID. You got to ask yourselves, why is it that the Democrats want to have the ability for people to vote and not prove who they are and have that right to do it? It doesn't happen in other countries. So I certainly think it shouldn't happen here. I'm sympathetic to this. In terms of having actual movement, though, in the Senate, I know with Chuck Schumer in charge of the minority and the fact that we have to have 60 votes for almost everything up here, it would not be easy to do. And the Democrats, again, have marched in lockstep, even over a cliff, on any issue that has to do with tightening up the elections in America. So I'm not optimistic at the end of the day that the Senate is going to be the place to get this resolved, even though the House has moved in the right direction.
Senator, always good to catch up with you. I look forward to many conversations in 2026. Thank you for your time today. Happy New Year to you, and we'll talk again very soon.
Same to you, Matt.
All right.
All the best.
All right, take care. There's Senator Bill Hagerty, 25 after the hour on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. President Trump's administration exploring ways to bring Greenland under U.S. control, and military action reportedly on the table. The White House calls the island a strategic priority for Arctic defense. Alternatives including buying Greenland or forming a special agreement with Denmark. The proposal has sparked a backlash from NATO allies and lawmakers in Washington. Meanwhile, there's Venezuela and what role the U.S. will take in the aftermath of last week's removal of Nicolas Maduro and his wife to face drug trafficking charges here in the U.S. Tennessee U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty just told WTN's Matt Murphy Show the goal is to return Venezuela to its people and help repair its economy.
Is it denominated in days? Probably longer. Is it denominated in weeks? Probably longer. But I'm not talking much longer than weeks and months to get this done. I think everyone wants to see the Venezuelan people take charge of their own destiny. Our goal isn't to manage this out of the United States. Our goal is to transition this.
President Trump at a House Republican retreat in Washington today told members they better win the midterms.
You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me.
California Republican Congressman Doug LaMalfa unexpectedly passed away today at the age of 65. That leaves GOP leaders with just a 2-vote margin in the House. And the flu is circulating at elevated levels in dozens of states, including Tennessee, with more records shattered in New York. 45 states, including Tennessee, reporting high or very high levels, and at least 10 children have died from the flu nationwide. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Darian Sutton says it's not even the peak for the season yet.
We've had recent conversations with the CDC, our ABC medical unit, and they can expect, or we can expect, to see the peak typically around February. Now, this season, it's earlier and heavier, so not only will we probably see that peak in February, but we'll probably see the highest numbers that we've seen associated with the flu in over a decade.
Here in Tennessee, sober DUI arrests are far more common than first thought. TBI now reporting 2,547 cases since 2017, compared to just 609 previously disclosed. In 2024 alone, 419 people were arrested for DUI despite testing negative for drugs and alcohol. State lawmakers say they plan to address the issue in the upcoming legislative session. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we've got a crash blocking the right lane off-ramp to Bell Road from eastbound 24. We've got a crash on Bell Road at Stewart's Ferry Pike and Blackwood Drive. I'm Ken Weaver.
Friday's the first alert weather day. Widespread rain. The risk of some strong thunderstorms late in the afternoon and heading into.
Friends, if it's time to get some more sportsman gear in your life, it's time to get yourself over to Volunteer Outfitters. Okay, so you looked under the tree for the holidays and you opened up all of the packages and you didn't get that special something from Drake or Huck or Aftco or Orca or Extra Tough Boots. Well, never you fear, because in Hendersonville, they've got you covered at Volunteer Outfitters. Tommy and his team want to talk with you. Don't forget about T-shirt. Is today Tuesday? It's T-shirt Tuesday at Volunteer Outfitters. You better get over there before the end of the day today. Any purchase gets you a free T-shirt on Tuesdays. I absolutely love this, and I love doing this. We'll go ahead and honor T-shirt Tuesday tomorrow morning before noon. If you get over there tomorrow morning before noon, tell them Murphy told me that I get a free T-shirt, and tell them just to put it on my tab, and I'll take care of the tab when I get back up there. Golfing attire, hunting attire, button-downs, nice attire for any occasion. They're open 10 to 5 Tuesday through Thursday, 10 to 6 on Friday, 10 to 4 on Saturday. Give them a call if you have any questions at 431-0824, or better yet, go see them on New Shackle Island Road in Hendersonville. It's the one and only Volunteer Outfitters. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Come on in, folks. The water is fine. We appreciate you being with us on this Tuesday edition, 437. Matt Murphy with you until 7 o'clock tonight. You can find us on a variety of apps, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeart. We were off Spotify for a hot minute. I think we're back on. Woo. I don't know what happened to Spotify. But apparently we were done with, we were off Spotify and we're back on Spotify. What one way or the other, if you're a Spotify customer, we're back, baby.
I blame Ken Weaver.
Well, that's a good person to blame.
I threw a brick at him.
I gave Ken his Gumby likeness moments ago.
Yeah.
That's that's so good.
Here, let me show everybody.
Yeah, show everybody on the Super Talk TV. Get him over there, Jackson.
There it is. That was the wrong camera.
You got him?
Look at that little fella. Smiles just like me, too.
Oh, and he's bendy just like you.
Hey, he's holding a little chicken.
He is.
And there's a chicken strapped to his back.
Yeah, that's right. He's got bricks, and he's whipping up on those birds with the bricks.
Oh, yeah, let me grab.
Oh, look at him. I was looking at him there.
Look at these bricks. Little bricks.
That's so good. Thank you to whomever. I forget the name of the person that sent that to us, but if you're listening, tell me your name and I'll give you full credit, because I don't think they put their name in the gift package there. It just says to Matt Murphy as promised, and I remember the promise.
It's $33.76.
$33.76. Thank you for the pocket-sized Ken Weaver.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you. Ken Weaver's not quite pocket-sized himself, but that little Gumby, that's a pocket-sized Ken Weaver.
Little fella.
Mm-hmm. All right, so thanks to Senator Bill Haggerty for joining us for a few moments. We'll get some of your commentary on that in a moment. Right now, however, I want to go back to the Super Talk hotline where we have a very special guest waiting. Now, you might recall, and we've been talking about it over the last several days, that a U.S. military operation in Venezuela resulted in the capture of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. And it has been applauded by any number of groups. Now, the political left, they don't seem to be very happy with this, and I would suggest to you that they're not happy about it because Donald Trump accomplished it, and they don't want to give Donald Trump credit for, well, virtually anything. But there are many organizations that have an understanding of the brutality and the truly evil nature of Nicolas Maduro that are applauding this, to include our good friends at Latinos for Tennessee, a wonderful organization that has stepped out and said, we applaud President Trump. We thank him for what he has done. And with that in mind, the executive director of Latinos for Tennessee, Tommy Villejos, joins us on the Murphy Show hotline this afternoon to discuss said same. Tommy, what's going on, my friend?
What's going on, my friend? A lot of applause going over here. A lot of applause.
Let me tell you something, brother. This is big, particularly for people. I don't pretend to understand what life was like in Venezuela. But for those that I know that do understand it, I mean, they literally cannot get through the discussion without tears rolling down their face, considering the struggle that many of their family members have gone through for so many years. Just walk us through your understanding of what this means for Venezuela and the Venezuelan people.
Well, for the people, 8 million people have left that country, one of the most prosperous countries for years and years, until Chavez took over, and these people have been tortured. Their family have come up missing, almost just similar to what Chile had done under the previous dictatorship. And this Maduro just took over what Chavez had done, and people had to leave. They had to give up their life, their life there. And so many of our members in our Latino for Tennessee are applauding. One of the biggest churches in the state, over 5,000 members at Casa de Dios on Dickerson Pike. We've had our governor go there. We had previous senators and state reps go. Their pastors are all from Venezuela. Another pastor who was a retired Air Force, Victor Gomez on Nolaville Pike, the same thing. They're saying, we have seen our people suffer. We are in victory mode right now. And so people are applauding this and crying. And the only one are the liberal Hispanics that are trying to change Latino X, or don't understand this, or just have, Donald Trump, they got this syndrome, TD has, but here's the most important thing. We're excited. There are new hopes being lived right now.
Well, and I believe that this is the beginning. I mean, it's not the end of something. It's the beginning of something. It's going to be the rebirth of Venezuela. I think a lot of people are incredibly excited about what that would mean, not just for that country, but for the Western Hemisphere, to include Cuba, to include possibly Colombia. I mean, our Hispanic brothers and sisters south of the border, they are excited about this beyond the borders of Venezuela, I think.
Well, they are. Look, we're looking at Cuba. I got a friend that went to Cuba and built 12 house churches. You can't build churches, but went there. And he just got back from recently from Cuba about 10 days ago. And he said it's gotten worse. The lines are longer. There's less to go around. And they're living in dire straits. Nicaragua, the Ortegas have taken back over that country, living under a dictatorship. So I've always looked at it as a person who's born and raised here, served my country for 20 years, a former elected official. If we can better our community and make economic strength out of those countries, less people will come here illegally. They'll want to stay there and prosper in their own country. Venezuela has the largest oil reserve, larger than Saudi Arabia. So why not help them? And many of those guys that went over there, many of them attend my church, whether it's the 160th and whether it's our Delta Force. And our church is right outside the gate of Fort Campbell. And let me tell you something. I can tell you this. I applaud what we did there because people are free today and feeling freedom for the first time.
It goes a long way into realizing just how perverted the system of quote-unquote justice is in Venezuela. I don't know if you saw it, but when Maduro was before the judge, when he was facing the indictment before him, I don't know that he realized that he had an opportunity for a defense attorney. I don't think he realized that he was going to have an opportunity to present an affirmative defense on his behalf, which he will, and I think he will fail in that regard, by the way. But it goes to show you that when the narco-terrorist head of that state, he doesn't even he has no concept of what truth and justice and the American way truly is all about. He's about to find out some justice, though, and I think a lot of Venezuelan people and a lot of people in the United States of America are very excited to see him fully face justice as he deserves it.
No, you're exactly right. Look, I was in the military when we went into Panama. A lot of my friends went out of my unit when I was in the military out of Fort Ord, California. And to see the freedom that was in their face, just being set free under the dictatorship of Noriega, it was just amazing. To see them come to prosperity today is amazing. The same thing is happening in Venezuela. I was in Venezuela. I went down there to preach there about 15 years ago, right before Chavez, had died. And let me tell you, I was at the airport, and they weren't going to let me go because they thought I was a drug dealer because I had a tattoo on my neck. I was a preacher, but they didn't believe me. And my wife just reminded me, we were looking through our pictures where we had to go preach there. And everywhere you went, there was army soldiers all over the place. They were under a brutal dictatorship. And Maduro, he did the same thing, and that's why he didn't let Maria Machado run and took her off the ballot, and Gonzalez won, and he stole that legitimate election from them because he wanted to suppress the people. Now, look, here's what a lot of my friends from Venezuela are telling me. They're telling me, look, Hezbollah has been there, Iran's been there, China's been there, Russia's been there, and isn't it something they get treated better than the citizens of Venezuela? So what Donald Trump has done, our great president has done, is set the people free so they can be once again free to run their government. Hopefully we'll get there sooner rather than later as we work through our thing out with the government.
Well, and a lot of our quote unquote friends on the political left, Tommy, they want to claim that this was all about oil, and they'll continue to claim that, and that's fine. But what we will do as a country is help Venezuela rebuild their oil infrastructure that was destroyed by Chavez, was destroyed by Maduro. Sadly, those people that benefited from the oil resources in that country, they've been poverty stricken. I can't imagine what they've gone through as the socialist dictators destroyed that industry. And I believe that America will help Venezuela build that back up and make it a prosperous nation again for its own people, not for the United States of America. We'll assist them in that regard, but for their own people.
You're exactly right. I had a friend of mine who's from Venezuela, lives right here in Nashville, said this. He said, They say it's about the oil. Well, what do you think it was about? China, Russia, and everybody? It was about the oil.
That's right. That's right.
That's what they were in it for.
Right.
But there's a difference here is that our American companies were taken advantage of, and just like any socialist government, took everything away from them, and they controlled it. But they were only pumping like 1 million barrels of oil out of the ground, and so now it's going to be out of the reserves. Now we'll be able to build that infrastructure through our own Chevron and Exxon and everybody else, and bring our technology, because Russia don't have that technology, China don't have, and nobody else does it. So, and let's go back. Let's forget about the oil. There's a national interest. We're in the Western Hemisphere, and if we don't do something now, that problem will be in our back door. And that's why we gotta. There's a national interest here, not just that. Drug trafficking. Look, I can tell you this. It was right at our back door, and China had a play in this. Everybody had a play in this, and so it was bigger than oil. It was about the lives that we were losing in our country, and we stopped it. And I applaud our swift action. 2.5 hours to take down somebody who did a video and said, "Come and get me, come and get." Well, guess what? We not only came, we blasted their hinges off the door, and we took you. And only America could have done that. And Latinos around the nation are applauding, because why? We are an American country that did decisive action in a foreign country where their foreign agents were trying to take advantage, and their government didn't say nothing.
For those unfamiliar, Tommy, obviously you're executive director and co-founder of Latinos for Tennessee. For those who don't know about the organization, what do you tell people about Latinos for Tennessee, the mission statement in this state?
Well, our mission statement is we're trying to prevent our state from becoming a blue state. We operate on leadership, faith, and freedom. We talk about physical responsibilities. We register voters. An average of 15 Latino kids turn 18 in our state. And if we don't do our job and talk to our politicians and stand up for them, and we go to churches, we have a register of over 400 Latino churches, all the way from Johnson City all the way down to Union City and in between. And we got 7 chapters, and we go and we bring awareness to these to our voters in our community, in the Hispanic community. Now, here's the reason why we're important. Because when Georgia got 2 Democratic senators, Latinos were key to winning that race, and nobody asked, and it was too late when they called us up and we sent people to knock on doors, but they already had them in the pocket over there. So here, we're registering voters, we're going to churches, we're getting involved, we're working with TPUSA, we're working with Faith and Freedom Coalition, with Ralph Reed, we're doing it with all these people, because we're trying to keep our state. We work with Senator Blackburn. We also were instrumental in helping Matt Van Epps and others, and all across this region. Andy Ogles has been a great friend of ours. He attended our celebration at the Capitol with the Speaker of the House. So our organization is essential to keeping our state red, and that's what we're going to do, because I would like one day for us not to be Latinos for Tennessee, but just Americans for Tennessee. But until that day comes, we're going to fight the good fight.
Well, I appreciate everything that you guys do, you, Raul, and the rest of the crew at Latinos for Tennessee. You know how much I appreciate the work that you do with Men of Valor, but I equally appreciate everything that you do for the other organization, Latinos for Tennessee. And thank you for being a voice of reason and rational thought. I mean, sadly, the mainstream media wants America to believe that if you are a Hispanic in the United States of America, you are automatically blue, and you break through that narrative every single day of your life, Tommy. And I don't believe for a moment that most Latinos in this state or any other aren't good, faith-based, conservative-minded individuals. They don't buy into this nonsense that they see on the mainstream media, and you cut through that, and we appreciate you, brother.
No, let me tell you, I've been to the White House 6 times this year. And every time I go in, I see the amount of Latinos that are in there, minorities are in there, and they're not in there because on their color. They're not there based on DEI. They're based on qualifications. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you something. I was there at one of the big events when we did our National Day of Prayer, and I'm looking around at all these Latino preachers and, these folks of all walks of life. And I was celebrating the fact that our president, had invited us there, and we're there standing with them because we believe we were people of faith. We're prayed for this because otherwise we'd be in dire straits. So you're exactly right. I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to be a retiree of serving my country for 21 years. Look, I was the first Hispanic county commissioner elected back in 2010. I didn't run as Hispanic. I ran as a proud veteran and American. But I just happen to like my tortillas and my enchiladas. Okay? But I am not ashamed to say I'm an American. My colors are the red, white, and blue. I don't wave the Mexican flag. I wave the American flag. And let me tell you something. We're going to fight for this country, and we're going to keep Tennessee red. And because of voices like you and partnering with us, we're going to make sure we keep it that way.
Tommy, Jason has written in on our super text line, and he wants to know when you're running for office again. He said you're an awesome guy, and you need to run for something. I agree with him.
Well, look, I lost my last state race by 153 votes, and one of the reasons was because Republicans are lazy. We had our district is a 55 to 45 district in District 67, and I ran twice. I won as the county commissioner, but I lost in my state race. But now, look, my goal is to get other folks elected. I want to get people saved and the Lord in our prison ministry, and this is so many things. So I got my hands full. And let me tell you something. Maybe one day, but my goal is to make sure I get others elected, and we keep our state red. I remember I was the chair of co-chair of our Republican Party in Montgomery County, and I led the fight for red to the roots because it matters at the local level. And now we're in for a fight here in Montgomery County to make sure we don't go purple at our county commissioner race, and our city council race, and also our school board. That's my goal, and I appreciate that person, Jason. Maybe one of these days, keep me in your prayers, my brother.
Tommy, God bless you. Thank you for everything that you guys do, and we'll talk to you again very soon, brother.
God bless.
All right,
and
take
God
care.
Bless
There's Tommy Viejos, executive director and co-founder of Latinos for Tennessee. He also works intimately with Raul and others at Men of Valor. What a wonderful organization that is as well. Good to have him on, speaking the truth about Hispanic voters and what they believe in this state and beyond. 53 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Have you heard the news, friends, about the hydrowave therapy now available at the Wellness Institute of Nashville? It's big news. I mean, this is a huge deal, right? The Wellness Institute of Nashville believes in advancing the technology and advancing the ability that they have to make you pain-free in 2026. And they have so many different technologies at their fingertips that many of which they brought into the state of Tennessee. They have spinal decompression, obviously, and it works so well, not just on your back, on your knees as well. They now have the hydrowave technology. I want to tell you about it. Dr. Mitchell and the Wellness Institute, they've done it again. It's their newest and greatest healing machine. It's called Hydrowave. It stimulates stem cells for cellular healing. This works, folks. Repair and restoration with no surgery, no needles, no injections, no downtime. This, along with spinal decompression, is the best you're going to find. They're the first and the only office in the state of Tennessee to have this technology, and it's available for you at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Go to painisbad.com to find out more and to schedule your appointment. Painisbad.com, or give them a call. Tell them I sent you to the Wellness Institute. 615-246-5009. 246-5009. You can have a pain-free life in 2026 without resorting to surgery, needles, or pills with the Wellness Institute of Nashville.
5 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. The Trump administration's considering steps to acquire Greenland, even hinting at military involvement. Officials, including Tennessee U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty, who was on WTN's Matt Murphy show this afternoon, argue the island is vital for U.S. security in the Arctic region.
You think about the criticality now of rare earth minerals and look at the deposits that are there in Greenland. Again, it has become increasingly relevant to our strategic protection.
Yeah, he says, especially given the movements of China and Russia there. Negotiation and purchase remain options, but the idea has drawn sharp criticism abroad. Denmark and other NATO members say any military move could threaten the alliance. President Trump's touting the operation that removed Nicolas Maduro and his wife from Venezuela as an amazing military feat. Tennessee U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty telling WTN's Matt Murphy show.
This is a massive turnaround. In my mind, it's been way overdue, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results for the Venezuelan people that are going to be positive for Venezuela, but also positive for the United States, and turn back the influence of communism in this hemisphere.
Hagerty says it will not take much longer than months to transition Venezuela back to its people and repair its economy. And President Trump spoke today to House Republicans about a message and political game plan for the year ahead.
President Trump told House Republican lawmakers today that if Republicans don't win the midterms and Democrats take control, then he'll get impeached.
But you got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached.
The president said he believes Republican policies are better than Democrats right now and seem to question polls.
And it doesn't make sense, because we've had the most successful year probably in the history. They say.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Well, thousands of Tennesseans have been arrested for DUI while sober, according to new TBI data. The agency now confirms 2,547 cases since 2017, including 419 in 2024 alone. The numbers are 4 times higher than earlier reports, raising questions about officer training and procedures. State lawmakers say they'll work to curb false arrests. 2 different types of remembrances held in Washington today to mark the 5th anniversary of the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol.
House Democrats marked the anniversary with an unofficial hearing.
January 6th was an insurrection.
Convicted rioter Pam Hemphill was sentenced to 60 days in jail. She told the Democrats she refused the blanket pardon granted last year by President Trump.
I own that guilt.
Dozens who accepted the pardon repeated their march from the Ellipse to the Capitol, taunting police officers along the way.
Turn in your back!
This march was labeled a remembrance for Ashley Babbitt, who was shot and killed by a Capitol police officer as she attempted to breach the House Speaker's lobby. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Got 3 crashes on I-24. Let's start in the Jolton area. This one's westbound before Whites Creek Pike. Then got 124 westbound at Murfreesboro Pike on the left shoulder. And in Clarksville now, Highway Patrol says there's a crash 24 eastbound past Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Got a crash on Nolensville Pike right there at I-440. And then the left shoulder's blocked by a crash 440 eastbound just past Nolensville Pike. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. It's the Matt Murphy Show, 6 minutes after 5 o'clock. Glad to be with you. Thank you for being with us. Hour number 3 starts right now. Happy to deliver the news for you and opine on said same. We'll allow you to give us a call, 615-737-9986. Would love to hear from you on the call-in lines or on the super text line. Same number, 615-737-9986. There's a lot of news coming out of Iran, and I don't know what to believe regarding the possibility of regime change there, because I don't know what I can believe on social media platforms like the X Machine. So I got that going on. I'm covering that story. I'm monitoring that story. There are suggestions that the Iranian regime might be toppled over by the people of that nation. And that's great news for the people that desire freedom as opposed to the oppression that they lived under for so many years. So we're monitoring that situation. We're also monitoring the aftermath of the action, the military and legal action in Venezuela. We'll continue to discuss that. We will continue. We've got nincompoops in the news coming up in just a few moments. I've got an update on the Music City Loop, a.k.a., according to Chris Hand, the B&A hole. We don't call it the B&A hole on the Matt Murphy Show because we believe in this project, and we want to be one of the first to ride in this project. And I don't believe that Hand is going to be at the front of the line, Tesla or no Tesla, if he continues to refer to it as the B&A hole. I just don't think that's happening. So we'll continue to call it the Music City Loop. We'll get an update for you coming up, and I promised you that we would get into the issue of DUI arrests in the state of Tennessee. This is shameful. And you will find no bigger supporter of our law enforcement agencies around the state of Tennessee than yours truly, Matt Murphy. But what is going on with regard to DUI arrests and the number of, dare I say, fraudulent DUI arrests? Absolutely shameful. But before we get into any of that, per his own request, Jackson Williams, the illustrious and soon-to-be erstwhile producer of the Matt Murphy Radio Show, has what he refers to as a major, big-time sports minute. With action, Jackson Williams on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Jackson,
what's up?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You got some sports news there, buddy?
I do. Titans head coaching search heating up.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
As the Titans have requested to interview 7 candidates that I have in front of me.
None of whom I've ever heard of. I don't think.
You've heard of these people.
Matt Nagy?
Matt Nagy, the Chiefs offensive coordinator.
Is it Nagy?
Nagy.
Is it Nagy?
Nagy.
As in he's nagging people a lot?
Hopefully.
Okay.
Hopefully nagging them to play better.
All right.
Vance Joseph, the Broncos defensive coordinator and former head coach of the Broncos.
No.
Steve Spagnuolo.
Oh, I know him.
The Chiefs defensive coordinator.
I'm 2 for 1. 2 and 1.
Lou Anarumo, Colts defensive coordinator.
Easy for you to say.
Raheem Morris, former Falcons head coach.
You don't want Raheem Morris.
Kevin Stefanski, the former Browns head coach.
No.
Jason Garrett, the former Cowboys head coach.
Yeah.
Last hour, the Baltimore Ravens fired their head coach, John Harbaugh.
What?
Yes.
And so he is expected to be a top candidate for every NFL opening.
Yes, sir.
Top candidate on the market.
John Harbaugh?
Yeah.
Yes.
After going 8-9, they said, you're out.
So after 18 years in Baltimore, he's looking for a new home. And He is my preferred candidate at this point.
Hey, fellas, y'all think he'll bring that Derrick Henry with him? That'd be
Hopefully.
nice. That'd be nice.
They just signed him to an extension, so I doubt it.
That's probably unfortunate, but that Derrick Henry, he remains to be pretty good.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. How long had Harbaugh been with the Ravens?
18 years.
18 seasons.
Yeah, since 2008.
What do you make of that?
Time for a change. They didn't feel like they were competing at the level that their talent garnered.
That might be a mistake.
I think it is. I think it's
but might be good for the Titans.
Could be great for the Titans. I think ultimately he goes to New York.
I think Harbaugh is definitely the best option out of all those you mentioned.
Well, certainly the most proven. I mean, the guy's he's been to a Super Bowl, hasn't he?
He's won a Super Bowl, and his win percentage was, I looked it up, .614.
That's
for
not
his
bad,
career.
man.
For 18 seasons, winning 61% of your games.
Well, I mean, boy, the NFL, I guess, does. I mean, like, what was his name? Jerry Glanville said the NFL stands for not for long.
Yep.
Well, let me ask you boys a question here. How many head coaches right now in the NFL used to be coordinators and are successful now as head coaches?
Oh, gosh, I would think
Pretty much all
most
of them at some point, yeah.
Most of them, I would
So
think.
Harbaugh, Andy Reid, Vrabel wasn't a successful coordinator, but he was a coordinator.
But I mean, were they real successful as coordinators and then just easily transitioned?
McVay.
Well, Weaver, I get where you're going with it. It is a different job description. It is a different job.
Absolutely.
To be successful. I mean, I think it is just as easy to miss as it is to hit on those types of things.
I think when you look at this list specifically that I read for the Titans, you see all but one name has been a head coach in the NFL at some point.
Huh.
So the Titans, Brian Callahan was never a play caller or head coach in the NFL. So the Titans are looking for somebody with experience coming into this
Callahan
job.
didn't call plays?
No, not in Cincinnati. He called them here, and they weren't very successful.
Oh.
The what's his name? Spagnuolo, the Browns guy. He I just feel like, I understand the automatic reaction going no, but
Well, I know because it's tied to the Browns.
but at the same time, I feel like that wasn't what's his name? Belichick. Did he coach the Browns? He did coach the Browns.
He did?
Yeah, I think he did. And he failed. Because, the Browns that's where you go to fail.
That's a front office thing.
That's a front office thing. That's just I don't know. I don't understand. They're snake bit. Maybe an ownership thing. Didn't Belichick coach the Browns?
Yeah, they were good.
Were they good?
Yeah, they were
I
on
don't
the
know
playoff
they
team.
were good.
They were a playoff team.
Belichick got them to the playoffs.
You got to remember the Ravens became the Browns, or the Ravens were the Browns.
Oh.
In 96, the
That's
Browns moved to
right.
Baltimore and became the Ravens. The Ravens are the old Browns.
Man, I thought the Colts moved to somewhere.
The Colts moved from Baltimore to Indianapolis.
Oh, okay. So the Colts moved.
And the Titans moved from Houston.
It was the Baltimore Colts, and they moved to Indianapolis, became the Indianapolis Colts, and then the Baltimore fan base was like, where the hell's our team? And so the Browns then moved.
Browns moved to Baltimore, became the Ravens, and then the expansion team is the one that's snake bitten.
Huh. Well, there you go. That's why we have Action Jackson Sports Minutes on Super Talk 99.7
Brother
WTN.
Jackson.
There you go, Jackson. Jackson, you also had a question about Greenland.
Yeah, why do we want Greenland? What are we doing with Greenland?
Well, we need ice for our drinks. That's why.
Thought we already had lots of ice.
So, earnest question: why do we want Greenland?
Yeah.
We want Greenland because of its strategic placement on the globe, on the map, and we want Greenland because of rare earth minerals.
Would it be a state?
I don't know. I don't think it would automatically be. Here's the deal. There's like 14 people in Greenland. Okay? I don't know how many people are in Greenland, but there are not a lot of them. Denmark likes to lay claim to Greenland, but there's some question about whether that
Isn't it its own country?
No, I think they are a part of Denmark.
Yeah, I think it's just a part of Denmark. Something that interesting that Haggerty said there. He kind of went off into the global warming type thing. But I guess with the way ICE has moved, he said it's opened. The corridors have now been opened in that region. And according to what he said, Russia and China are noticing these corridors. Everything we do is to counter Russia and China.
Well, a lot of what we do.
Everything.
That's
An
the truth.
Estimate of the population is 56,000 people.
Yeah, 56,000 people.
But they got lots of minerals.
A lot of money, too.
Lots of minerals. We want the ice. We want what's under the ice. We want what's in the ground. We want the
Oil?
minerals.
Is it oil?
I don't know that there's oil there. There are almost as many people in Columbia, Tennessee, as there are in Greenland.
Oh.
That says a lot, right? So, Chuck wants to know, when did WTN become a sports station? Chuck, we're not a sports station.
Just humor me for 5 minutes, please.
Every once in a while, we allow Jackson Williams, our illustrious executive producer, an opportunity to present an Action Jackson Sports Minute when it is appropriate and we believe timely and of interest to the general listening audience. And so we have done so today. Now we're on to Greenland.
Yeah. I have one final question for you.
All right.
Did you ever watch Bad Santa?
I tried to.
Ken, it wasn't your assignment, but I appreciate the effort.
Yeah, Ken and I tried to. Ken, why couldn't you get through it?
I don't know, dude. It just wasn't my bag.
Yeah, me too. Not my cup of tea, Jackson.
Well, I've had to sit through things that aren't my cup of tea, like Fred Claus.
I guess we need to.
Man, that's a good movie, Brother Jackson.
We need to decide if we're going to continue that bit.
I love that bit.
What, the movie bit?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you got to give me an opportunity to get settled into the new house. So I think we crank the bit up at the beginning of February in advance of Valentine's Day, and we do love stories.
Ken, mark this day in your calendar, please.
Yes, sir.
This is the day the bit died.
What do you mean the day the bit died? I got to get moved, man. I don't even know my internet service provider down there in Mount Juliet.
Oh, they have
Mount
internet?
Juliet, Mount Pleasant.
They have internet down there?
I'm switching mounts, y'all. How often will I call my new home Mount Pleasant, Mount Juliet before I get it into my brain?
Probably after you stop taking 40 east.
Yes, they certainly have internet. I got a cell tower real close to my house, so I'm very excited about that.
You ought to be set then.
Maximum service, baby. Maximum service.
Heard they just got 3G down there.
Mm-hmm. They got an unemployment office down there, too.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Take folks from all walks of life. Hermitage, Old Hickory. Oh, yeah.
Even Birmingham or Thompson, Georgia.
THOMSON, and Thompson. All right, so DUIs. More than 100 Tennessee law enforcement agencies reported arresting at least one person suspected of driving under the influence in 2024, only to discover no alcohol or drugs in their blood. I want to hear anonymous, if necessary, from our law enforcement community on the phone lines at 615-737-9986. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation reported the numbers to Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally and House Speaker Cameron Sexton as required by a new state law passed unanimously April 15. Under the bill, the Bureau must detail to the lawmakers all instances in the past year when someone was charged with a DUI, but, quote, no alcohol or other intoxicants were detected in the person's blood or breath. The reporting requirement will end after 2029, although I seriously doubt it will end because of some of these results. The law came about after media scrutiny surrounding questionable arrests by the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Here are the numbers, and Ken Weaver's been reporting these diligently all day, and we appreciate his reporting from the News Closet B. 419 people arrested by 108 law enforcement agencies in the state of Tennessee in 2024. Is that right? 2024?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 2024. That's right. The Tennessee Highway Patrol, which has the widest jurisdictional reach among them, reported the most, with 190 arrests, nearly 46% of the total cases. While the statute states no intoxicants were detected in the person's blood or breath, it is important to note, while TBI calibrates breath alcohol instruments, we do not administer breath testing, the TBI told lawmakers in its report. As such, we derived this data from DUI-related blood submissions to the TBI crime laboratories only. Why? So this begs a couple of questions, and we will invite Cameron Sexton on. We will invite McNally will not come on with us for whatever reason. We'll invite Jack Johnson on from over in the Senate, maybe someone from the governor's office. Does anyone know why Tennessee doesn't do breathalyzers or breath tests? Because according to this article that I'm reading from out of the Tennessean, TBI says they calibrate breath alcohol instruments. They don't administer breath testing. The Bureau also said while tests do not show a positive result in those cases, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are sober. The agency said in its report, quote, there are various substances that might impair a driver, but for one reason or another may not be detected through our screening. While alcohol screening and impairment can be considered relatively straightforward, drug toxicology can be incredibly more complex. Middle Tennessee had the highest concentration of DUI arrests where no alcohol or drugs were detected in blood samples, according to the numbers released by the TBI. Predictably, the largest concentration of arrests happened around Tennessee's largest cities, obviously Memphis being one. Although Memphis was something of an outlier, according to the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, Memphis reported only one case. The Metro Nashville Police Department was not included in the list. The law only specifies TBI must report these numbers, and Nashville operates their own crime lab and their own testing numbers. So state troopers reported the following number of arrests. Knoxville, 41, Chattanooga, 17, Nashville, 37, Memphis, 15, Lawrenceburg, 25, Jackson, 40, and on it goes. So what we have are people getting pulled over. Perhaps they're driving erratically, or there is some reasonable suspicion on the part of the police officer that they are impaired. They cannot identify that impairment through breath screening. I'm even confused about that. So we don't do breathalyzers in the state of Tennessee? Y'all forgive my ignorance. I've only been here 4 years, after all. But boom. There are no breathalyzers in this state. When you get pulled over, you do what? I don't know that I could pass some of those roadside tests.
I know
honestly.
I couldn't say the alphabet backwards right now.
I don't know. I don't think they make you say it backwards. I think that's an old wives' tale because I don't. Z, Y, X, W, U, V, V, U, T. I do know that they make you say it forwards, and they're listening for your manner of speech when you do that. And then, they do the eye test where they do the little eye bop where they make you look over here and make you look over there. And if your eye bounces, then that's an indication that you are under some sort of intoxicating substance. You got to do the heel to toe. You got to raise the leg. You got to count to 10 and all of those sorts of things. I get those roadside examinations. I also understand how reasonable people who are not inebriated in any fashion could fail them. I want to know why, if there is any good reason, we don't do more breathalyzer type testing. Number two, these toxicology exams in some cases take 8 months to get back. And if I'm not inebriated, if I've not had any alcohol and I'm arrested for DUI and then my report comes back negative, you damn right I'm suing whatever agency arrested me. I mean, consider for a second me, right? I just moved to Mount Pleasant. That's a pretty fair drive. Pretty far down the road.
Yeah.
Let's say I get pulled over and I'm tired after a long, hard day yapping on the radio, and there's some sort of suspicion that I'm driving inebriated. And I'm like, no, I haven't had any alcohol. I just got off of work. And they determine that I have, in fact, driven under the influence of something. And I say, no, that's not true. They take me to jail and they take my blood. If my bosses at Cumulus Media found out that I'd been arrested for DUI, I would be fired. I'd be fired. And they would not care terribly much what I had to say about it. I would suggest to you. And 8 months down the road, after I'm exonerated, you think I'm getting my job back? Look, I support law enforcement. I understand that most of the men and women that are engaged in this activity are doing it the right way, but this just feels weird, folks. Let's talk about it. 25 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Just because it's a new year does not mean that you have missed out in open enrollment. You can get on board with a new plan by February 1. All you have to do is call Shane Ring today and find out how he can assist you. You do not have to play by Washington, D.C.'s rules. Shane Ring and Cover Nash can help you. They can help cut your costs by up to 60% off. You keep your doctor, keep your hospital. They're not trying to screw you up in that regard, but you can skip the government red tape, and that's what it's all about. So if you're self-employed, if you're uninsured, or if you're just tired of paying too much, call today, 615-465-0023, 465-0023. Real health coverage on your terms, not on the terms of the government. Friends, open enrollment continues. You can get it on this. Call Shane Ring to find out how. He is your healthcare concierge in Middle Tennessee and beyond. Shane Ring and Cover Nash at covernash.com.
5:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. The Trump administration's considering steps to acquire Greenland, even hinting at military involvement, at least saying it's on the table. Officials, including Tennessee U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty, who was on WTN's Matt Murphy show, argued the island is vital for U.S. security in the region.
President Trump is the third president to state that he'd like to acquire Greenland, that we'd like it to become part of the United States. And the strategic rationale has been there for decades.
Hagerty says it has become more relevant given the movements of China and Russia in the region as of late. We also asked Senator Hagerty about how long the U.S. will be helping Venezuela repair its economy and transition back to its own people.
Is it denominated in days? Probably longer. Is it denominated in weeks? Probably longer. But I'm not talking much longer than weeks and months to get this done. I think everyone wants to see the Venezuelan people take charge of their own destiny. Our goal isn't to manage this out of the United States. Our goal is to transition this.
President Trump told House Republican lawmakers today that if they don't win the midterms and Democrats take control, then he'll get impeached.
You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached.
Meanwhile, California Republican Congressman Doug LaMalfa unexpectedly passed away at the age of 65. That reduces the GOP's narrow control of the House to just 2 votes. In opening statements today in the Texas courtroom where former Uvalde police officer Adrian Gonzalez stands accused of slow response on the scene of the 2022 mass shooting at Robb Elementary School that killed 19 children and 2 teachers. Here's ABC's Peter Haralambous on the more than 70 potential witness prosecutors have subpoenaed.
All of this going to prove what they laid out in their opening statement today, that allegedly Adrian Gonzalez had ample opportunity to respond. Specifically, I'm looking for testimony that supports their allegation that basically a teacher had warned Gonzalez as the shooter was trying to enter the school. That goes to this idea that he had plenty of opportunity before the shooter even entered the school to stop this from unfolding.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Got a crash on the left shoulder, 24 westbound at Murfreesboro Pike. 24 eastbound before Old Hickory Boulevard in Whites Creek, right there at exit 40. Looks like police are working a crash. And in Franklin, got an accident blocking the left lane, 65 southbound at Murfreesboro Road. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Savory Spice. Holly and David are local owners of Savory Spice. It's one of the reasons I love their shop so much, because we keep our money local in buying the spices that we love for home cooking or whatever our need might be. But that's not the real reason you go in. You go in for the delicious smells. You go in for the flavors. You go in for the cost effectiveness, because they're not more expensive than other spices around. They just have better spices at the same great prices, or even in some cases less than some of these big box retailers. Friends, Savory Spice have gift-giving ideas. They've got great stuff for you to restock your shelves after the holidays. If you've exhausted all of your different spices cooking for the holiday season, then it's time to get yourself restocked with Savory Spice. And also, I mentioned that at Savory Spice, I understand that maybe you're looking to lose a few lbs after the holidays. Well, you know, those Brussels sprouts don't taste very good unless you put a lot of spices on them. And you can get those delicious spices for the veggies in your life at Savory Spice. Savory Spice, located in the heart of Franklin, just off the square. You'll smell it before you walk through the door, the beautiful aroma of incredible spices at the one and only Savory Spice. Any of you fellows want to say something to my brother? He's listening.
How about you, Brother Murphy's brother?
My bro Brian from Seal, Alabama. 2 E's and an A in Seal. is listening. Brian here from Seal, Alabama. Just curious who actually reads this thing. Well, I do.
I pop on there occasionally.
Yeah, Jackson reads it on occasion. The super text line, that is 615-737-9986. We're getting to, speaking of my brother, we're getting to nincompoops in the news coming up in just a moment on Super.
I have a question.
Yes.
What was the oldest age that Matt wet the bed?
Ask my brother about the time that I popped him in the head with the baseball bat because he was coming at me.
Nope. Wet the bed.
He claims that he was play acting, but the knot on his head says different. Or said different.
Sibling rivalry.
We were all, Brian would, you know what? We would play a game of, we called it football, Ken.
Football.
And we were in the middle of nowhere outside of Thompson, Georgia, THOMSON, no P in Thompson. And it was just Brian and I, and we would try to play baseball and football, just us.
Yeah, right.
And I was 2 years younger than my brother, and football involved him throwing the ball at me.
Yes.
And then me catching the ball, and then him destroying me.
Right.
Just destroying me.
Yeah.
And then calling that a touchdown.
Touchdown.
Yeah. Not very fair, if you ask me. I'm getting to nincompoops in just a moment, but I asked for a number of telephone calls, and I want to get to some of my members of the law enforcement community that have called us. Like John is I believe, a member of law enforcement, wants to talk about these DUIs. Hey, John.
Hey, Matt. So I just want to say I appreciate you taking calls on this. And
of course.
I listen to y'all's station all day while I'm at work from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. And so Chris was going over it earlier, and he didn't take any calls on it, and I was just yelling at my radio. So I appreciate you taking calls, and I'll try to answer any questions you got that to the best of my ability. I'll start off by clarifying some of the breathalyzer. So TBI doesn't do the physical breathalyzers. Most breathalyzers are held at the county jails. So when you arrest somebody for DUI, you have the ability to take them to the county jail, and the state laws on breathalyzers are so strict that a lot of law enforcement don't even use them anymore because it's a lot easier to just get a blood sample. Because when you do a breathalyzer, there's a 30-minute mandatory observation period. So when you arrest somebody for DUI and you believe, and second of all, breathalyzers only detect alcohol coming from the breath. They don't detect any drugs that the subject may have taken or anything like that. So it's strictly an alcohol test.
So
when you go to the jail, you have to start the breathalyzer. It's got a timer on it that you have to sit there and watch this person, make sure they don't drink anything, eat anything, chew gum, burp too much. Like, it's a long process just to make sure that their mouth isn't contaminated with anything 30 minutes prior to actually taking the breath sample. And so you sit there for 30 minutes, twiddling your thumbs, watching them. And there's been cases where an officer is watching a subject for that 30-minute period, and a supervisor or somebody may walk up, ask them a question. They turn to answer the question, talk to the supervisor a second, and then turn back. And that's been challenged in court that, hey, he wasn't watching them for that 2 or 3 minutes that he answered that question. So it's a lot of trouble to try to just do a breathalyzer.
I mean, and I understand. I guess I understand what you're saying. I mean, this is odd to me because back in my day, I mean, I remember having breathalyzers administered to me on the side of the road.
Yeah, the portable breathalyzer.
The blow test, right?
In the state of Tennessee, we're not allowed to use those. In the state of Tennessee, the only mobile breathalyzers you can have cannot indicate a blood alcohol content. So, the ones that you see at the bars or you can buy online or whatever to test yourself, you blow in it, it'll tell you what your alcohol content is.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, you're not allowed to have those on the side of the road. The only ones that we're allowed to have on the side of the road says that will give us a presence of an alcoholic beverage. So, like, if you have one on the side of the road, you can only use it to say, hey, yes, there's alcohol. It don't tell you how much. You could have had any amount. It'll just say yes, alcohol, or no alcohol. It's very finicky too, because you can't use those until after the person has been placed under arrest for DUI. I would love to be able to be like, hey, are you drunk? Blow. Yep, you're drunk. You're under arrest. But you can't. That's not the way it's allowed in Tennessee. In Tennessee, you have to go through field sobriety tests, all that stuff, and be placed under arrest for DUI before you could even use something like that.
Well, would you? And I understand everything you're saying, and I appreciate that, and I know that y'all just have to deal with the rules as they are presented to you, right? I mean, you don't make the rules, you just abide by the ones that you have to go by. But would you not agree that if you have over 400 people in 1 year being falsely accused? I mean, that's the only way. The only thing I can go by is if the blood test comes back negative, and if the blood test comes back negative, then by definition they weren't driving under the influence.
Yes, but there's a second part to that they don't involve or really say on that. So when blood is sent to TBI, when you fill out the TBI form, you have two boxes. One is a alcohol test and one's a drug test. If you select alcohol test, they only test for alcohol in the blood. They don't test for the drugs. So most officers will check both, because sometimes you'll have somebody that's doing two things, either drinking with a narcotic on board, or they're just got the narcotics on board.
Sure.
And when they send the blood to TBI, now, again, I'm just a street level cop, so I don't have any control over what TBI does on their side. But when you send the blood to them, they have a panel, I believe it's of 5 different drugs, like your main category of drugs. And they test for those, and then they will test for the alcohol. And then they send you those results. And in this legislation, if you get that test results back and it's a negative on both sides, drug and alcohol, then TBI then has to retest the blood with a full panel of drugs to see if the initial test didn't catch something. And so
why don't they just do a full panel to begin with?
I would assume it's because, just like y'all were talking about earlier, I don't know if you said it, but like the rape kits and all this other stuff, there's so many blood kits, I would assume, this is just me assuming because I don't know the facts of it, but there's so many blood kits coming in that I would say probably 9 times out of 10, that simple panel that can be done a lot faster.
But here's the bottom line. I mean, and I'm not blaming you, John, but I go to the doctor and I get blood work done today. I get my blood work back in 2 days. So I don't understand. I think the biggest issue for me is that it is taking, and this is not the fault of law enforcement in cars, on the streets, patrolling the streets, trying to do their jobs. The biggest problem that I have is that it is taking 8 months to get this stuff back.
I agree.
And if TBI and if the officials that are testing the blood can't figure out a better way to do this, I mean, they have to figure out a better way to do this. Because it's one thing, I appreciate if John stops Matt Murphy and you have reasonable cause to believe that I'm intoxicated. And I say, no, I'm not. And you say, well, we're going to take some tests and I'm going to have to take you in. I'm going to have to get blood work done. Well, it's one thing for me to get blood work done, and then by the time I go to court, I've been exonerated. The blood work came back negative, and, that's one thing. It's another thing for me to go through the entire process and then my blood work come back 8 months later.
I will say that we've got new technology for roadside, so they won't. If you looked in that legislation, they added in mouth swabs. So when you commit like a aggravated assault or an aggravated crime of that nature, they do a mouth swab of your DNA when you're arrested. So they use that legislation and stuff to attach this new technology. And I was issued it. I was one of the first officers in the state of Tennessee to get issued this device. And so now, at the end of once you're placed under arrest, we do a mouth swab, and within 15 minutes, it'll tell me any drugs that, well, most of your top drugs. It's kind of like, some of those are hard
top line.
test.
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's an advancement that we can get behind then.
Yeah. So that'll tell you right then, and again, it won't tell you how much is in the blood because, again, I guess Tennessee just doesn't want that to happen. But it'll tell you positive for marijuana, positive for methamphetamines, positive for, different drugs like that. So it'll tell you what's on board at the time. But still, yeah, you're correct. Waiting that long, I know it's, bad, for the defendant, but it's also, us too waiting because, we'll be prepared for court and then it'll get reset to another date and then we'll have to be prepared for that one. And it's just as a pain on our side as well. I know.
Well, I know that the people that I know, and I'll include you in this comment, John, and you tell me if I'm wrong, but the people that I know, the men and women that serve in law enforcement, they would like nothing more than a better system to ensure that they get the bad guys off the streets and behind bars when they're endangering the public safety, and the folks that have done nothing wrong, they get to go about their way. I believe that in my heart, that the vast majority of the men and women that wear the badge want that.
That's 100% because, I will be honest, like a lot of law enforcement don't like to deal with DUIs because of how it's a running joke that people will fight a DUI more than they'll fight a murder case because it affects your ability to drive, go from place to place, things of that nature. And I know how crucial that is. And then on our side, if we don't cross the right T's or dot the right I's, in the grand scheme of things, a DUI is a misdemeanor charge. It's not a felony or anything crazy, but it does affect your driving ability. You're talking about losing your job. That's 100%. And so if it was easier for us to make, like you said, find the bad guys, put the bad guys that are committing these crimes, it would be easier for everybody.
Well, I would say that, and I'll say that, I'll leave it at this because, this is a great conversation, John, and I'm so glad you called. But I would say if we were talking about 40 in a calendar year, maybe I'm not even talking about this, but over 400, that needs to be looked at, and it's probably not a matter that needs to be looked at on the street level. We need to figure out the technology and make sure that we're giving our law enforcement the tools where they can make. I know the vast majority of y'all want to make the right call, and I'm going to give y'all the benefit of the doubt in that regard. Bad apples, occasional bad apples aside, but I appreciate the valuable information, John. I got to scoot. I'll tell you what we're doing. We're calling a little bit of an audible. We'll do nincompoops right after the top of the hour. If that's okay with Ken Weaver, if that's okay with Jackson Williams. Ken says it's okay, so that's 2 against 1. Jackson says it's not okay, but we've already voted, and the Wolves are having the sheep for dinner. It's 51 after the hour on Super Talk. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Alpha and Omega. So you're a business owner or you're a decision maker in a business. Are you handling your own IT? My goodness gracious. Are you really? In 2026, You're taking care of your own IT? Friends, this is a recipe for disaster on a couple of levels. Number one, I promise you, you do not have the expertise that Alpha and Omega, Michael and his team have when it comes to cyber threat, cybersecurity, ransomware attacks. Number two, you're probably spending way too much of your time not handling your business, handling IT issues, printer issues, emails, servers, all of the things that go along with computer issues. Computers are so incredibly invaluable when it comes to, am I saying that right? Yeah, they're incredibly valuable when it comes to your business. You have to have them to run a business, and you need Alpha and Omega to run your computers. They are the experts when it comes to IT, and they can prevent ransomware, cybersecurity attacks, and they will keep your operation running smoothly so you can get into the business of your business. A&O.net, that's A&O.net online, or 615-784-0096, 784-0096 for Alpha and Omega.
The White House confirming the Trump administration weighing a range of options to acquire Greenland, including the use of military power. This story and more at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, we'll try to get to as many as we can. A lot of reaction to this conversation. It seems to me, and I'm just throwing it out there, that we ought to be able in 2026 to have some sort of field sobriety device, breathalyzer device that would determine if your blood alcohol level is above the legal limit. That's it. It just, and if we can't figure that out, that's one thing. It's another thing for innocent people to wait over 8 months for justice. That is not a fair nor speedy adjudication of justice, as we are guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States. And I will give most law enforcement the absolute benefit of the doubt that they want to do things the right way and that their hands are bound in a lot of ways. But that doesn't change that fact that you have innocent people that are being accused of something that they did not do. And, you know, I've heard the suggestions. I've heard the people talking about, well, these LEOs just want to, you know, they got quotas and they got all this and that and the other. I don't want to believe that, but it's hard for me. It's hard for me not to. It's hard for me not to. Chris is next up on this subject with a couple of minutes remaining. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good. First off, thank you, sir. You have an amazing show. I love everybody on there with you, Jackson and Ken.
Thank you.
But anyway, my comment is I've been in the medical field for a long time. I'm a phlebotomist now, but I've worked in and out of labs. Your problem is, too, I actually know who taught the first 50 highway patrolmen here in Tennessee to draw blood. But anyway, your problem is, too, is it's not stored properly. That stuff gets beat and bang on the way there, which means the blood can hemolyze, and the testing doesn't come out properly anyway, so they may not be able to tell anything because the blood's ruined. And a lot of times that stuff needs to be refrigerated. And I've also talked to some other officers. There's no telling how long it sits in the little storage where they drop it off over there across the street from the courthouse. I guess it's over there at the jail is what they said. But, and as they were talking about just testing for the 5 main ones, well, that's silly because the cost isn't that much more to go ahead and do all of it. And like you said, your blood comes back literally a lot of times it's overnight because so much of it is automated now.
Mm-hmm.
If Davidson County or anybody else wanted to do this, if they were smart, you're going through a company like LabCorp or Quest or Path Group. If they were smart, they would just literally have it sent straight to them. They would have a pickup location for them to be able to pick up the blood. It would be done the next day. These people wouldn't have to wait. And it'd probably be cheaper in the long run because you're not paying a bunch of state employees to do it. But that's really all I got, brother. But like I said,
thank you. Thank you, and I appreciate the information. The TBI apparently tested 16,883 blood samples, and 2.5% of them ended with no sign of alcohol or drugs in the blood samples. The Bureau also said while tests do not show a positive result in those cases, that doesn't necessarily mean that they were sober. You know, that just sounds like Bravo Sierra to me. Well, all of the testing methods that we use came up negative, but that doesn't mean that we weren't right. Well, to hell with that. I mean, just absolutely to hell with that. You need to change the laws, come up with a better system, or admit that sometimes your officers are wrong and that the testing methodology, either the testing works or it doesn't. And if it doesn't work in almost 3% of the cases, then we need to come up with some different methodology. And that's not the responsibility of the LEOs that are on patrol on the streets trying to keep our streets safe. All right, Nincompoop's on the way. More calls on this if you so desire. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. I got a winner in Nincompoops, boys. I'll share it with you next on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes, and the White House confirming the Trump administration's weighing a range of options to acquire Greenland, including the use of U.S. military power. Officials say the move is driven by national security concerns in the Arctic. Tennessee U.S. Senator Bill Hagerty telling WTN's Matt Murphy Show.
It's become, I think, more strategically relevant given what's happening up in the Arctic right now, and that is the movement of Russia and the movement of China in the Arctic region.
Other strategies under consideration include purchasing the island or negotiating a compact with Denmark. European leaders have strongly rejected the idea, warning it could fracture NATO. We also asked Senator Hagerty about the U.S. role in Venezuela now that Trump has removed the dictator there, Nicolas Maduro, and Maduro's wife.
This is a massive turnaround. In my mind, it's been way overdue, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results for the Venezuelan people that are going to be positive for Venezuela, but also positive for the United States, and turn back the influence of communism in this hemisphere.
President Trump with a prediction at the annual Republican retreat today.
You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me.
And meanwhile, California Republican Congressman Doug LaMalfa unexpectedly passed away at the age of 65 today. That leaves the GOP with only a 2-vote majority in the House of Representatives. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, got a crash on the left shoulder, 24 westbound. This is at Murfreesboro Pike. Then in Franklin, a crash blocking the left lane, 65 southbound right there at Murfreesboro Road. In Hermitage, got a crash on Central Pike. It's just east of I-40. I'm Ken Weaver.
Final hour of the show right now. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. We're pleased you've decided to join us on Super Talk. Thank you for your participation. Ken Weaver's on the news. Jackson Williams on top of everything that comes out of your speakers. He is in control of audio. We appreciate his hard work. My name is Matt Murphy. I'm the host of The Gathering, and I thank you for being here. 615-737-9986. That is the telephone number if you'd like to get involved in the show. A lot of you wanting to talk about these DUI arrests. 419 in 2024 were determined to be invalid, or at least they came back from a blood sample standpoint negative. That, according to lawmakers who released this material, it was required that the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation release the material, or the Tennessee Highway Patrol release the material to the lawmakers, and then subsequently get released to the general public. 2.5% of all the blood sample work that went to TBI came back negative, and this is months and months and months after these people have been hauled off to jail and have been accused, and in some cases convicted, of driving under the influence. We'll continue that conversation coming up in mere moments. Right now, however, it's time to talk about some nincompoops.
Nincompoops in the news.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Nincompoops in the news. Time a little bit tardy. It's my apology to you. I apologize for being a little late, but better late than never. Now, we have three men. Ken Weaver, who is currently holding the Nincompoops in the News trophy.
Don't you worry, baby. You're not going anywhere.
Oh, he's talking sweet nothings, too. You know, if he has that trophy much longer, Jackson, he'll put his little mini pocket-sized Ken Weaver Gumby right there in the...
That's right.
Right there on the trophy itself.
Yes, sir, and the little bricks, too.
Oh, yeah. Put his little bricks right there in the center of the trophy. That would look rather nice. Now, Jackson might have something to say about this. Me, not so much, because I never win, because people are mean to me. I did do some tallying yesterday, and Ken, I got to tell you.
I won.
You lost.
You lost.
Oh!
Jackson Williams came out on top. I think it was 3 votes.
All I'm going to say is the last 3 nincompoops we've done as a whole group, I've won them all.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go for 4.
Okay.
Son of a biscuit eater.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. But, Ken, I've got great faith that you can make a comeback today. I feel pretty good about my nincompoop story, too.
All righty.
But both of us will have to wait until Jackson goes. Jackson?
Boys, I come to you on this Nincompoops Tuesday with a heavy heart. As a man robs a Summerfield Dollar General just days after his release from jail.
Oh, no.
A Central Florida man who just got out of jail for armed robbery is back behind bars. My cousin, Dexter Jackson. That's how this works, right? Was recently released from prison for armed robbery in Marion County.
Cousin Dexter.
Deputies said cousin Dexter was just arrested for the second time in 15 days. Jackson was released from prison on robbery charges in November, and just weeks later, old Cuzzo was involved in a chase with law enforcement in December. On December 22nd, 2025, Cuzzo was captured after fleeing from deputies during a pursuit. During the chase, a deputy went off-road to catch him. Deputies said Jackson swerved through trees before being tackled and apprehended. Authorities reported that he stole from a Dollar General in Summerfield 15 days after he had posted bond from his December arrest.
What did he steal? Did it say?
Doesn't say, but I'm assuming maybe my Christmas present.
You should probably call him. Find out.
Probably some of them spicy peanuts, man. I love those spicy peanuts at the Dollar General.
So that's what Ken would steal from the Dollar General.
Hey, do y'all like how Dollar General is now putting up these, they call them the DG Market? You haven't seen the DG Market,
So they
Ken?
got their own brand.
They got their own, well, they've got their own.
DG Market's been around for...
They got their own grocery stores.
Yeah, that's been around for years and years and years.
I mean, it is fairly late to the party, Jack. I wouldn't say years and years and years.
No, there has been one near my house the entirety of my life.
They sell food.
Yeah, they
in
sell
the
it's
regular
a grocery store.
Well, hold on a second. Let me finish the sentence. They sell food in the DG, right? Like just the regular old Dollar General. They sell food there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's new to me and it's not new to y'all. But
Hey, it was new to me.
I just think it's funny that they're trying to. It feels like they're trying to make it a little hip. They call it the DG Market. They don't call it Dollar General. It's the DG Market.
There is something new. The DGX
Mm-hmm.
Express.
What is that?
The Dollar General Express. It's these little ones you see downtown.
Oh, like a little convenience stores.
Yeah.
little run in, run out kind of deal.
Those are new.
Okay.
The market is old.
Well, I mean, about that?
My sincerest apologies. And my condolences to the loss of Dexter for the foreseeable future to the rightful authorities. Ken Weaver, you want to go next?
I'll go next, boys. Are you ready?
Yep.
This comes out of the great state of Georgia. A near-naked bandit went on a wild carjacking spree through a Georgia neighborhood while wearing nothing but a tablecloth. And the very clever writer of this story says until he was ultimately cuffed in the buff. Peach State cops received a report Friday of a stolen vehicle that was believed to be in the possession of the nude suspect Mackenzie Call. Later that day, police found the vehicle, but Call was not inside it. Witnesses told authorities he ran away. Officers noticed signs he may have been exposed to chemicals while inside the car. The chemical Call was supposedly exposed to is not immediately clear, though police body cam footage showed arriving officers discussing whether Call had suffered chlorine burns and showed an abandoned pool servicing truck. While officers searched for Call, multiple 911 calls were received about a man matching his description, wandering through the area, wearing only a tablecloth, attempting to get into several vehicles. Surveillance footage released by police captured Call prowling around in what appeared to be glasses, a pair of blue slippers, and a beige tablecloth draped haphazardly around his waist. At one point, the birthday-suited thief allegedly entered an occupied home and snatched the keys to a Mercedes before driving off. Officers quickly found the stolen Mercedes, conducted a traffic stop, took Call into custody at gunpoint.
Yee.
Yeah, Call's been hit with a slew of charges. That boy's in jail.
What did it say? I may have missed this, Ken.
Yes, sir.
Where did he get the tablecloth?
It did not say.
Does not say.
It just shows images of him running around in a pair of glasses, those blue shoes, and a tablecloth.
Well, there's no question that the man's an nincompoop. But can we give him a little credit? I mean, because most of these people that y'all bring to the table, they're completely naked.
Well, and that's what's interesting. He's trying to cover himself.
Right.
I wonder if he, like got into a situation that he thought sounded fun, and then it started. And then maybe the police were busting something going on, and he ran away. Grabbed the kitchen tablecloth on the way out.
Maybe he did one of those little magic, shoo boom, and all the stuff just stays there. Shoo. Grab it, wrap it.
Coppers.
Grab it, wrap it, and go. I like it. All right, I have two food-related stories that I don't expect will win nincompoops in the news, but these are the real nincompoops. When Jackson tells you a story, when Weaver tells you a story, I mean, these are generally naked criminals, generally speaking.
Yeah.
My
the
stories,
entirety.
I'm dealing with the real nincompoops of the world. Like, for example, now I'm putting two food-related stories together to make a combined nincompoop in the news.
Okie doke.
McDonald's. And I know y'all been talking about this today. I think I heard you earlier today, Ken.
Yeah.
McDonald's is responding to a federal class action lawsuit claiming that it misled millions of people by marketing the McRib as pork rib. The 45-page complaint filed December 23rd of 2025 in U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois says that Derek Wilson, Dorian Baker, Charles Lynch, Peter Lee take issue with the product's name and presentation, notably the term McRib and its rib-shaped patty, which they say would lead a reasonable consumer to believe the sandwich includes real rib meat when there is none. All of these people are nincompoops.
What kind of meat is it?
It is compressed, processed sludge.
Yeah. Trite.
But what animal?
Nobody knows.
Nope. Nobody knows.
Is it?
It's kind of a Bargatze. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Could be woodpecker.
I mean, yeah. Could be woodpecker meat. Could be human flesh. I don't know. Oh, now he's looking it up.
Yeah, Buzz Jackson looking it up.
While he's looking that up, I'll tell you this. People over in Tokyo darn sure know what type of meat they like, and it is at the fish market. A large bluefin tuna made waves at Tokyo's Toyosu Fish Market this Monday morning. It fetched a record 510.3 million yen on the market auction. That is $3.2 million.
That's a lot of McRibs.
For one tuna. The winning bid for the 243-kilogram fish came from the operator of a popular sushi chain, which has outlets across the country and abroad. The first ton of the year brings good luck. The company's president and a figure at the annual New Year auction said they paid $3.2 million for one tuna. Now, tuna are big. I mean, tuna's, it's not small.
No.
I don't know how much 243 kilograms is.
Let's look that up.
Let me see. You want me to try? Let's see who can do it first.
Well, the thing I'm thinking about, we need to go out and catch a tuna and sell it.
I mean, $3.2 million. Now, part of this is because it was the first catch of the year, and they suggest that there's some sort of luck involved. But I can't imagine any tuna worth that amount of money. 243 kg, 2 pounds is, it's 535 pounds.
That's a big old fish.
That's a big old fish. It ain't worth $3.2 million. So the people that bought that tuna for $3.2 million, they're nincompoops. The people that are suing the McDonald's Corporation for misrepresenting the McRib, you know exactly what you're getting when you get the McRib. It is processed sawdust, and they are nincompoops as well. Jackson has an answer.
Yes, the McRib is made from 100% boneless pork, specifically ground pork shoulder, not actual rib meat, and it is emulsified, whatever that means, with water, spices, and sugar, and topped with a tangy barbecue sauce.
You a fan?
No.
You not a fan?
No.
I'm a fan.
Go get you a McRib.
I haven't had one in 20 years, but I was a fan at the time, and I knew exactly what I was getting, which was a garbage. There you go, nincompoops in the news. You get to vote, 615-737-9986. Naked tablecloth guy, whatever Jackson was talking about, Dollar General boy, or Matt Murphy's conglomeration of moronic meat eaters. Those are your choices. 615-737-9986. Mike and Larry and John, not necessarily in that order, next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Efficient Heating and Cooling. Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling, they understand that it's a little warmer than usual. As a matter of fact, last couple of days, we've had almost record high temperatures, which probably means you're cranking up that AC unexpectedly. Well, the heat will be back on before you know it. And in these conditions where you're turning on the heat and you're turning on the AC, it can put a strain on that unit. If that's the case, if it's not running as it should, if, dare I say, it's not running efficiently, it's time to get with Efficient Heating and Cooling. If you're trying to make a decision whether to repair or replace your system, you need someone that you can trust involved in that process. That person is Jeff Eddy in Efficient Heating and Cooling. If you need a second opinion on something that you've already been told, they're your source for second opinions. Jeff Eddy does not believe in just automatically defaulting to, you need a new system, because it costs you more money that way. They want to repair that system if at all possible, but when it comes time, they're an Elite Pro partner with Rheem, and they can help you out in that regard as well. EfficientHVAC.net for repair, for maintenance, or replacement. EfficientHVAC.net, an Elite Pro partner with Rheem. 615-784-4424, 784-4424. I have, believe it or not, gotten a vote or two. By the way, someone did the quick math. Almost $6,000 a pound for that tuna. $6,000 a pound. Larry has written in and said, my first ex worked at McDonald's. Their nickname for it was the McGrizzle. Yee. I guess that's the pork shoulder they were talking about. 615-737-9986. I don't know if this is the same Larry or not, but here's Larry in Clarksville. Hey, Larry.
How you doing, brother?
What's up, man?
It is the same Larry, and I'm still above the daisies. But Matt, my question is, Tennessee has a $2 billion surplus every year in our state budget. Why can we not have portable breathalyzers? And why is it that the most of these claims are against the Tennessee Highway Patrol? And with your contacts with our state government, I would think that somebody needs to go in and start kicking some rear ends.
Well, we're going to get to the bottom of it. And for me, this is not about the rank and file in law enforcement, at least most of the rank and file. Look, if we have bad apples in law enforcement, if you have individuals that are being told that they're going to be held to a quota on DUIs or anything else for that matter, that's wrong, and that needs to be rooted out and eliminated. If you have police officers that are arresting people that they know are not drunk, then those people need to be fired.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But for the most part, I'll say this and I'll let you finish, Larry. For the most part, this feels like a bureaucratic issue with the officers doing their best, trying to figure it out, trying to make sure that people aren't driving their automobiles impaired on alcohol or some other drug. And by the time it gets beyond them, they get them to a place where they take their blood, and once that blood leaves their hands, they're dependent on the bureaucracy, and the bureaucracy is simply not doing its job in a timely fashion. And if that's the case, then something has to change.
You're absolutely right, Matt. I mean, when it takes, if somebody gets arrested for a DUI and it takes 8 months for them to figure out they were not under anything, they were not, there were no conditions. But by that 8 months, they've already lost their job. They probably lost their house. And they probably lost everything. And then what the hell can they do?
Well, it's a solid question. It's a fair question. And I'm going to ask that question of every lawmaker that's on this show as we turn our attention to the General Assembly that's set to begin in the next couple of weeks. Lawmakers need to this is not 10 people in a year being wrongly arrested and wrongly accused of drinking and driving or driving under the influence. This is over a person a day in the state of Tennessee. That's too many.
Yes, sir. And Matt, you have the connections with the people, with our state representatives that can make a change to this. This is absolutely absurd that this could happen. This could happen to you, could happen to me, and hell, I don't drive anywhere anymore.
Well, and you're right, Larry, and the fact of the matter, and thank you for the call, and I'm glad you're above the daisies, brother. I appreciate you. The fact of the matter is that there are a lot of just sucky drivers, okay? I, for a long time, spit the bit on making use of your cell phone illegal while driving an automobile. But driving my motorcycle particularly, and my automobile to a lesser degree, just observing the people around me on the roadways, I found that cell phone use was more akin to drunk driving than anything else that anyone does in their automobile. It just is. 8 times out of 10, if you're in the middle of the day and someone is in front of you and they are driving erratically in a fashion where it seems that they are drunk, they're on their phone. They're on their phone. Speeding up, slowing down, weaving in and out of traffic. And we rightly make the use of a handheld device illegal in the state of Tennessee. Obviously, drinking and driving is illegal as well. The stigma associated with driving under the influence of alcohol or any other drugs is so great that even if you're wrongly accused, it can stain, tarnish your reputation to the point that you get fired. Even if you're exonerated months later. As the great line goes, remember, what was he, Secretary of Labor, Ray Donovan? Y'all remember Ray Donovan under Ronald Reagan? I think I have the facts of this correct. I want to say he was Secretary of Labor. Might have been something else, or he was a nominee. He was accused, wrongfully accused, of embezzling money. And the media just lambasted him because he was a Reagan appointee. And they raked him over the coals. Long before he went to trial, it was determined by many in the mainstream media that he was guilty. And after he was found innocent in a court of law in Manhattan, I think it was in Manhattan, he stood on the courthouse steps and he said, "What office do I go to get my reputation back?" What a great line. What a great sentiment. Sometimes when you are wrongfully accused or assumed to be guilty, there's no way to repair that. And this feels like, at least in certain cases, to be that situation. More on this in a moment. 31 after the hour. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Wait, so you're telling me Mike from Old Hickory has called you 3 times to tell me I'm going to get sued by McDonald's?
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because I said that I loved the McRib and it was garbage?
I'm assuming so.
Huh. Well, I stand by both of those statements. Every time I've ever had the McRib, I've absolutely loved it. I haven't had one in, 15 years. I'll tell you what, though. I don't know what's in it, but food is not supposed to stay intact the manner in which McDonald's food stays intact. Just not supposed to.
It's tasty, though.
I mean, I'll give it to you. I mean, look, last time I ate McDonald's, I had a filet of fish, extra tartar. Loved it. Loved it. I don't know what's in that fish. I mean, I'm assuming it's some sort of fish. I can only assume. Chris and D, who has been holding the longest? I believe it's Chris by a nose. Chris, thank you for your call. How are you?
Hello, Matt.
Hey, Chris.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for calling.
Yes, sir. Hey, congratulations on your upcoming 1,000th episode, I might add.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And I don't really have, I just need to tell you my experience in the whole DUI thing. And you might have touched on this before I got in my truck and was listening, but just to share a little bit of my experience in this, I was pulled over. I'm a cigarette smoker, and I tried to throw a cigarette out the window one time, and it fell in between my seat and my door, and I was trying to get it. Unknowingly to me, there was a state trooper back there, I don't know, a football field behind me. And long story short, I spent about an hour and a half not drinking one drop on the side of the interstate, and I did at least an hour of field sobriety, and I begged the officer to give me a breathalyzer, which he said he didn't have one in his car at the time. And long story short, they ended up placing me under arrest after, I don't know, a solid hour of field sobriety. Took me to the hospital, and they put a needle in my arm, extracting blood from my body. And long story short, I had no alcohol in my system. I spent $8,000 on a lawyer, a full night in jail. And what my lawyer ended up telling me was, and I don't know if anybody's touched on this, but the reason they do that on the first offense DUI is what my lawyer told me is that the TBI has a bunch of DNA in their data bank that they don't know whose it belongs to, and that's one way of conducting some sort of analysis of who is who and trying to find people that that the blood does not belong in their data bank. Does that make sense?
So you're saying it is a roundabout way to get samples of your DNA?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Maybe.
And that's just what my attorney told me. And my blood stayed in their possession for 14 months before I ever went to court on it the first time.
And eventually you were exonerated?
Exonerated. Yep, nothing. I walked out of there with $8,000 lost out of my pocket, a full night in jail. And
I think here's a.
They're second guessing to me the whole time.
Right.
You know?
I mean, there has to be a way that if you are wrongly accused in that fashion, that you have an ability to be recompensed for the cost of the attorneys.
Yes, but that's going to cost you another $5 or $10 for attorney's fees to get that taken care of.
Yeah,
you know, that's not something that just happens because you say so. It's something that you have to hire an attorney, and it's a big racket, man. It just is, and that's just my opinion. And that has personally happened to me, Matt. And I love your show, and I love your comments.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you calling and sharing that with us, Chris. Thank you for making the call, and don't make this call your last one. Obviously, we've heard story after story. I've had a lot of them come in on the super text line along these same lines. That now I have no idea of corroborating the story. I'm not saying that Chris is telling me anything but the truth. I'm certain that he is telling me the truth, but I mean I don't have any way of independently verifying that. At the same time, we do have verification that at least, 419 in 2020. I mean, and there are way, way more of them. I mean, and the fact of the matter is we did not have the same levels of record keeping back in the day because there was no requirement that these records be kept along these lines. Now the requirement is there, and we're learning that there is a fairly obvious problem. If 3% of your blood samples come back negative and you've accused people and they've had to go through the rigmarole of being at a trial and dealing with that, then I have to believe that there is some other way to do this a little bit better. Hello, D. How are you?
Hey, good to talk to you again.
Good to talk to you. What's on your mind?
Well, so you'll probably being a libertarian, not like everything I have to say. But it seems to me like most of these problems are coming back with blood tests. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, in this particular case, yes. And it's because apparently the state of Tennessee, and I'm learning this as I go, but the state of Tennessee does not have any consistency with regard to breathalyzers and whatnot. So they lean on blood tests more often than not.
Okay. So I work north of the border, so I'm not as familiar with Tennessee, but I can tell you that, the biggest problem we face working the road are these YouTube channels and these YouTube lawyers that give out really bad advice. And as a libertarian, I'm sure, you're probably of the stance, don't incriminate yourself ever. But if you
talking about the audit people, those types of things,
and all that kind of stuff. And so if you've been out for a night and you've not been drinking and you get pulled over, and they want to give a blood test or a breath test on the side of the road or a breathalyzer test, and you've not been drinking, these websites give advice, don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. Don't say anything. Don't do this. Well, so if an officer has pulled you over, if I'm driving down the road and I see some driving behavior that concerns me and I think you might be intoxicated, I'm going to pull you over. And a combination of observation and smells and the things I see and observe might lead me to do some field sobriety tests. And based on those field sobriety tests, I might give you a PBT, the roadside breathalyzer. And so if people are exhibiting really bad driving behavior, they do poorly on the field sobriety tests, but they blow zeros, the automatic assumption is that it must be drug related. So some states have really upped their game with a couple of enhanced DUI schools. One is called A-RIDE. Another really hard one is a DRE expert. But you go in for some medical training and you learn how to interpret what you see and give some additional tests to determine if it's a drug-related DUI. But I suspect a lot of these problems could be alleviated if people would just participate in the PBT on the side of the road or give the breath sample, because if I take you downtown and there's nothing in your blood sample and you're not displaying anything, drug related, you're not going into jail. You're going to be released.
Well,
so the arrest isn't that you're guilty. It's that we have probable cause to believe that you're guilty.
Well, Mike, here's where I'm at on it. I understand what you're saying, and different people, we as Americans have every right in the world to act in a manner consistent with our belief structure. And if I don't believe that you have the right to do certain things, and obviously you have you can make your own presumptions and whatnot, and you can proceed in that manner. What I've long said is that if you have a disagreement, and I am a small L libertarian, as you well know, D, but I've long said that if you have a disagreement with a police officer on the side of the road, you're not winning that disagreement that night or that day. You're just not.
That is correct.
So if your disagreement, so we individually have to evaluate whether or not our disagreement rises to the level that I'm going to lose that day in order to win in the long term. And if I believe that it is a righteous cause to do that, then I'll take it to the next level. And, each individual has to determine that. My question is, if we do take it to the next level, and I am determined to be right, but it costs me thousands of dollars in order to demonstrate that I was correct and the officer was not, Where do I go to get my money back?
Well, this is what I would propose, that you don't spend any money. So let's say
that's not the way it went. I don't mean to interrupt you, D. That's not the way that it works in the real world, bud. I mean, in the real world, you have to hire attorneys.
Here's a good law change that I think everybody could get behind, maybe even the police. I know I could get behind it. Let's treat a blood case only, not a breath case, but a blood case where there is doubt, where it could be drugs, as we would treat a felony, which means you don't go to jail right away. So the way we handle felonies in most states is if I pull you over and you've got a bag of cocaine, that's a felony. I don't have to arrest you right then. I can log that evidence, I can write a report, and then one day I can go to the grand jury, tell what's happened, and then they can issue a warrant.
Mm-hmm.
So why can we not secure that person safely for the night? I mean, if they appear to be drunk, get somebody to pick them up, but we get our blood sample, we have it done, but then the person goes home and waits the results. Why can we not do that? I would be happy with that. I think it would save some court time and save a lot of us a lot of trouble sometimes. It would definitely keep the jails a little bit emptier on Friday nights. But then if it comes back and you've got blood or alcohol or drugs in your system and you get indicted, or we just take the results and swear out a warrant, then we know that we've got a reason that you're going to have to fight that charge. But if the blood comes back with nothing, you've not spent a night in jail.
So just
an investigation that goes away.
But functionally, so D, you've pulled me over. You believe that I'm on some sort of intoxicating substance, and you're going to give me an opportunity. You're going to issue a citation. We're going to get. I mean, we don't get blood on the side of the road. I have to go in with you.
Well, not necessarily. We have guys that are trained phlebotomists. It's not super normal. Some counties, the EMTs will do it.
I just don't think you could standardize that statewide. Functionally,
we can make it easier. Even if we go to an ER and then we release you from the ER, maybe that's a condition of, if we rewrite the statute and say, look, a condition of, because now I think in Tennessee, right, if you refuse the blood test, that's a separate charge, and you're going to lose your license anyway, right? So if you go ahead with the program, you give your blood sample, and then you're released that night safely, then I think it would eliminate a lot of lawyers.
What about what about this, Steve? We keep the system that we have, but if it is determined that I did not have any drugs or alcohol in my system by the blood test that is required by the state, so the state passes the law and the police officers are following the law, and the blood test is a part of this process. If it is determined at whatever point, and we need to speed that up, no question. If it is determined that my blood did not have any alcohol, did not have any drugs in my system that they could detect, that the state is responsible for paying my legal fees.
I mean, that's doable to me too. I just think that you have to remember most officers, and there are bad apples out there. I mean, we all know, but I think most officers operate in earnest. And I think that when you make a charge, be it a DUI charge or any other charge, you have to articulate what your probable cause was. Now, when I do a DUI, and I've been doing them for 22 years, I write or I go back and review the body camera, but my report says, I said count backwards from 79 to 64. And anytime they made a mistake, that's in my notes so that I can articulate this is why I thought that person was intoxicated. Sometimes if field sobriety tests are refused, I can, note the other behaviors, the reason for the stop. And a lot of times just the body cam video alone will show that the person was intoxicated in some fashion. So, it is possible to get a DUI without a blood test.
Well, but if the person, if it is demonstrated on the cameras, if it appears that the individual is under the influence of something, and then the blood test comes back negative, what are we going to believe?
Well, that's true. We got to make sure we test for everything.
Because D, if you tell me we don't believe the blood test, then screw the blood test. Then we have to throw the blood test out. So we have to believe the blood test if the blood test comes back negative, regardless of how the person appears at the point of contact with the police officer. Otherwise, what good is the blood test?
Well, that's true. And we've got to figure out why they were acting in the way they were acting.
Well, no, I mean, look, and I know, and look, I appreciate what you guys do. When you say north of the border, you mean Kentucky?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right, well, thank you, Dee, for the call. I appreciate it. I'm running out of time. It's 53 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know, this issue that we've been talking about is complicated. You know what else is complicated? Repairs on your automobiles. At least it can be. Taking your car in for repairs can be a complex procedure. Your repair's only as good as the person under the hood. Most of the problems in fixing your vehicle is not that they want to rip you off. It's a simple knowledge issue. A lot of techs are not properly trained. They end up guessing what to do, causes delays in getting your vehicle back or repeat visits for the same issue. For around a quarter of a century, Eurofix has changed the game when it comes to European auto repair. Every visit starts with a free 15-minute no-wrench inspection, so you know exactly what's going on before they touch your vehicle, and they can figure it out without touching that vehicle. At Eurofix, they pay their techs more than any other company does. They attract the best and the brightest that way. Eurofix fixes European vehicles at below dealer pricing with a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all Eurofix work that they perform. And rental cars are available with every appointment. Locally owned, family run, 5 separate locations. Eurofix. It's the one and only that you'll hear me recommend. Call or book online today at myeurofix.com. Myeurofix.com.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
By the way, for those asking, and several have, Ken Weaver was the big winner in Nincompoop. Don't shake your head. It is true. Ken won the night with his tablecloth naked guy. He beat Dollar General, and I was in third place. And so it's 1-1 to 0. Williams to Weaver to Murphy. There you go. I'm sorry for those we were not able to get to, Roland and Charlie. We will try to get to you next time. I apologize. We simply have run out of time, as you can hear the music in the background. I appreciate all of you so much. I love what we do every day from 3 until 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And I hope that you are more informed, educated, and entertained as a result. I'm out tomorrow. Cameron's in for me. I'm closing on the house tomorrow. Big news on that on Thursday. And we'll be back on Thursday at 3 o'clock. Until then, hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.